rested. I'm salty. I got a lot of movies and TV shows. I got so many things to talk about. You can ask me about anything. I got opinions about everything and anything. I went and had the Mexican pizza at Taco Bell. I got
that's right. That
all covered, which was way too expensive and totally not worth the like $8 they want for 2 chalupas and some beans and meat or whatever. But like,
I made a joke on something that the Mexican pizza would come back.
Yep.
And literally like 2 weeks later, they announced it was coming back.
Yeah. So yeah. With that in mind. Get ready, everybody. You gotta sit down. You gotta take deep breaths because, like, it's gonna be a hell of a RageSelect podcast. We got news. We got stuff to talk about. We got Mexican pizzas. I ordered a bunch. No, that's not true. I mean,
All kinds of things,
I could say it, but like, you know, unless we ate them on the microphone, there's no way that anybody could ever like know whether we actually had Mexican pizzas.
There'd be a lot of crunchiness too.
Yeah, so. I know. The last thing I want to say, I'm gonna open up the RageSelect podcast, Michael. I'm gonna make it so that it's corn chip friendly. We can all eat corn chips while we're doing the RageSelect podcast. Just crunch, crunch, crunch.
You can
crunch,
do it in 4D, so all you guys gotta do is eat at the same time.
Yep. And then I'm gonna sell my corn chip noises as an NFT to Ringo Starr. Anyway, I'm Jeff. By the way,
I'm Michael. I don't understand that last part, but okay.
Somebody in the Discord just posted that Ringo Starr is doing a tour and he's launching it with sound NFT bullshit, and it's just like, great, huzzah!
I love that people are still doing it, even though shit is crashing literally as we speak.
Yep. Well, they've got too much money, man. It's too big to fail. Except that it's not, and it is failing.
It's failing a lot. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
It's not. So I was going to ask what you wanted me to talk about, but I know what I want to talk about because I finally, after a million years and everybody talking about it left and right, I finally got a chance to watch that Everything Everywhere All at Once last week. And so here's the thing. I really like the movie. I'm going to talk about why I really like it, but I feel like people in the internet in general have been hyping that movie in a way where it's like, I think that I didn't get a full faceload of it because I'm not on social media as much, but I think that movie could get overhyped. Like, you could go in there thinking like, I'm going to see the best movie of all time and be like, it was fine. So I think everybody should watch that movie. I think it was very creative, like visually arresting, really interesting. I had absolutely no idea where the plot was going, even from the trailers, which was nice, you know. I thought that it skipped over a lot of the problems that I have with movies where like a lot of the stuff that was cool to look at like tied into the plot and like bolstered the plot more. I thought it had a really clear emotional through line. Like the first 15 to 20 minutes were like a little slow, but it was just like have you ever it was like a what do they call it, a mise en place, like when people are cooking and they get everything ready, right? And then it's like when it's time to cook that you just got everything ready. And so instead of having to measure out a teaspoon of soy sauce, you're just like, bam, right there. I got my soy sauce ready.
It's one of those ready meals from whatever the internet uses now or whatever.
The what?
You know those meals where they're like, if you sign up, you get the thing and it's got all the stuff ready, measured and all the shit.
Hello Fresh.
Gotta throw that shit in there.
Yep. Blue Apron.
Even a dummy can cook them.
I actually had HelloFresh for a little while, but the problem is that, you know, when they explain to you that everything is pre-measured, right? What it means is that you open up this bag and it's got all your ingredients in it, but every ingredient is in a separate container.
Yes.
And so it's like you end up with just like, I mean, like I'm not the fucking smoke cigarettes. I run my air conditioning. I'm not like the biggest environmental guy in the world, right? But like it got to me a little bit. My sister and I cooked one of those meals, and when we were done, she was like, man, you threw away a lot of like little plastic containers and like little cardboard containers and a little thing of salt that you got to open up, and then you throw away the thing that the salt was in.
That's
and it's just like, oh yeah, you're right. That was a lot of stuff.
I worked under the Blue Apron support because they're here in Austin, and they actually, apparently, if you work for them, you actually have to cook whatever it is, or you can cook whatever it is that they're going to be doing during that time frame. So they have like a fully stocked kitchen and shit upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Which caused some issues where every now and then stuff would leak because they would forget to like take care of certain things. And so there'd be like sections of our building that started where there's clearly a lot of water coming down.
Oh my God.
It was an interesting time.
That's not good. Anyway, Everything Everywhere All at Once is like totally worth watching. I think that it's, you know, some people, you know this. You hang out with a bunch of movie people, right? And like, you know, people be like, no, you got to see it on the big screen. And I'm just like, no. It is fine to watch on a 4K television. Just like scoot your couch a little closer to your 4K TV.
But you got to watch Avatar on the giant screen with the 3D glasses.
Don't gotta.
While James Cameron is staring you down talking about the Titanic.
Can't fucking make me. Yeah. I'm not going to watch it on my phone, but I am going to watch it on the $900 TV that I bought. Like, it's, you know.
You're going to watch it on your 3DS.
Yes.
The way God intended to do it.
Yes. I'm not watching it on a UMD.
Yes.
James Cameron, okay? Like,
way God intended it.
Yeah.
On the PSP.
I've got my like LED lights behind the TV to make it all classy and shit. You know, I turn off the big studio lights. I turn on my little lamp and I get myself a beer, some popcorn. It's fine. Not David Tennant. Who's the Tennant guy? Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan. It's fine, Christopher Nolan. I will enjoy your movie the way you want it. I just don't want to do it shoulder to shoulder with some fucking mouth breather at the Alamo Drafthouse who's going to be like,
Christopher Nolan's a genius.
Right. So anyway, Everything Everywhere All at Once, solid, highly recommend. It's not the greatest movie of all time. It might be, but the thing is that it's totally worth watching, and I feel like it's a lot better than a lot of the movies that I've come and complained on this podcast about.
He complains about a lot of them.
I complain about a lot of movies, and I really like that movie, and I was like, I'm not crazy. Here's the thing I like. I liked it. It was fine.
Because she didn't use the green goo at the end.
She didn't use the green goo. That was the only bad part, was there was no green goo, and I was like, God damn it, whip out some green goo, Michelle Yeoh.
And then it turns out it's a Flover sequel the whole time.
I want to make a bunch of Doctor Strange jokes because there's like, you know, multiverse, and there's kind of a multiverse thing going on.
That's true. Well, that's the thing that's the thing is the two of those movies get compared a lot recently.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were, for some reason, being like, Doctor Strange is clearly better because it made more money. Like, that's the stupidest fucking argument anyone's ever fucking said.
It's a hot multiverse summer, man. We're all multiversing. We're all going between different places.
Multiverse all over this fucking place.
Except for me, because I'm like Mojo. There's only one Jeff from RageSelect in all of the multiverse. Also, I'm a big fat guy with spider legs. You don't know. You're not even in my house. You can't tell me I don't have robotic spider legs.
It would explain a lot, though.
Yeah. You know, I like to kidnap Longshot, put him on television.
Yeah, I was about to go, does that make me Longshot?
No, you're my Spiral. Come on.
That's fair. I'm cool with this.
Or the Major Domo, or, you know, take your pick. So that was my multiversal trip. I mean, I'm just doing all the regular stuff. Fucking Aoashi and Spy X Family and all that bullshit. What about you, Michael? What have you seen recently that was what recommendation? Why can't I fucking talk? That's my only job. It's my only job to talk. What have you seen that you liked?
Well, besides Chippendale, which I really like, which you do listen to that review on oneofus.net.
Yeah.
I also was really into the new Kids in the Hall because you were talking about it.
Yeah.
And I'd almost forgotten, so I decided to watch it.
I only watched the first episode. I need to go back and watch more of it.
But they haven't missed a step. Yeah. They really haven't. Like, there's some of my favorite stuff is the bizarre, weird ones. The first episode one that you mentioned to me, which made me want to watch it, which is very early on.
Yeah.
Which is the two robbers, and they're like, they're going to be looking for clothes guys.
Right.
And then, there's full frontal nudity in it.
Full frontal nudity from the kids in the hall. I saw the kids in the hall.
And it was so funny, like the way that one ends. And then there's one where a guy shows up at his friend's apartment, and he's like, my girlfriend is cheating on me, but it turns out like it's an imaginary girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
And so like, but then it turns out that the friend might be the one cheating on his imaginary girlfriend because he also imagines his girlfriend. And like, and it's like, it's that kind of weird shit that I love about Kids in the Hall.
Yeah.
And I've only watched like the first half of the entire thing. I haven't watched the whole rest of it because I didn't have time at it. But every episode has like something I will remember from it.
It's one of the few examples that I can think of, and I've only watched one episode, so who knows, it may like fall down and catch on fire, right? But like, it's one of the few examples I can think of a show where it's like they brought this show back. The people that run the show are the same fucking funny people that they were before.
Yeah.
But they also know that they're like 20 years older or 30 years older, and they're like playing into that. They're not just trying to do their thing. Like, they're like, yep, we're old now. Like, let's do old sketch comedy. But even when I was telling Amanda this just a moment ago, we were recording something where it's just like they go into the theme and it's the same Men from a Shadowy Planet theme song.
Yeah.
But the black and white stuff is all just new stuff that they've shot of them being older, but it's kind of the same vibe as before. So yeah, it's solid. It's like, it just kind of picks up, and at least from the first episode, it was like, this is the same Kids in the Hall that I liked when I was in the 90s.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, they haven't missed a beat.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, that one was kind of okay, they come up with another one that's like, I don't know where you're going with this, but I love every second of it.
Also, the Kids in the Hall itself was a strange show.
Oh,
like,
100%.
It wasn't exactly like the most like guffawing laugh out loud sketch show.
It was a niche ass fucking sketch comedy show.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to say in a sea of weird ass sketch comedy shows.
Yes. Like I would compare it to, the first thing that came to my head was like Key and Peele. I love Key and Peele, but for Key and Peele, like I actually went back and watched a bunch of old Kids in the Hall before the new one came out. I didn't realize it was out yet. And like Key and Peele sketches, it's like a setup for a delivery. Whereas there's some Kids in the Hall sketches where it's just like, the reoccurring guy that works for the devil.
Yeah.
And it's just there was one episode I watched where it's just this guy comes into the shoe store and the minion of the devil is just helping him pick out shoes in a really weird way. And then at the end he's like, I made the sale, my lord and master, and then like flashes up to Satan. And that was the whole skit. Like there wasn't like a punchline. It was just like, hey, this guy's weird.
Hell, like one of the most like fun recurring skits in the original one is the guy squishing people's head at a distance.
Crushing your head.
Like that's the entire joke, but it's funny every fucking time.
Yeah.
And Kids in the, like I said, they haven't like I love from the get go. One of the first things that happens in it is that they get like unburied.
Yes, they dig them out of their grave,
and then they just yell at and scream at each other because they're like, "Oh my god, we're all the shit."
Yeah,
and it's just so fucking funny.
Like in the first episode, the sketch with the Cathys, and it's like there isn't exactly like a build up to like a big punchline here. It's just kind of like the Cathys are back. Here they are. So yeah, it's a very strange show, but I'm glad to see that it I put my hand on the nostalgia stove so many times where like 30 to 40% of the value of the show is just like, remember this thing. Whereas here, it's like you could watch this show without even knowing Kids in the Hall. And I'm not going to say that it would hold up for a modern audience. What I'm going to say is that the modern audience would be getting the same experience of watching Kids in the Hall where you're just like, I don't know if I really understood what was going on there, but it was like mildly amusing, I guess. Like
there's like one skit that's like really dark that it keeps coming back to.
Yeah.
Which is like a radio DJ in like what looks like a bunker playing the same song over and over again. And you start realizing slowly, or not even slowly, but like you realize pretty early on that like he might be the only person alive.
Okay.
But like it keeps cutting back to the guy. Like throughout the episode, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's Kids in the Hall. They're very much that type of humor.
It's funny, too, because I realized that, like, I guess, like, Dave Foley kind of had a little bit of a career.
Out of everybody, he's the one who had
but, like, none of the rest of those guys, I never saw them in anything. Yeah.
Well, Kevin McDonald had a lot of voice work stuff.
Yeah.
As well. And he actually had a few movie roles, but they were usually really small for the most part. But he out of everybody, those are the two that got like the most anything.
Yeah.
And everybody else, I don't know what the fuck happened with them.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, guess what time it is, Michael?
Rage time.
We're transitioning over to the news, and for I believe the third or maybe fourth week in a row, our primary story is about Activision Blizzard, kind of.
It sounds right.
Because
were they trying to crush people's heads from a distance?
I'm crushing your head. Bobby Kotick is just up there. I'm crushing it. I'm crushing it.
This is what you get for voting.
So Raven Software took the vote, and we've got the first like major AAA union, labor union,
which is amazing.
Which is great.
Claps for all around.
Yep. The last time I think we were talking about this, Activision did a bunch of shenanigans. They tried to, the first thing that they did was they tried to, and it's also worth remembering that like this started when they converted a bunch of QA testers and then like left like 30 of them as like contractors.
Yeah. Like
after converting like 1,000 people before, like after the announcement for the merger was put together. But, and then they did that thing where they They integrated QA with the developers, right? Which I could not think of any good reason to do outside of like keeping an eye on them from people that were getting paid more than they were. And then Activision wanted to force the NLRB to let all of Activision vote about
it was
whether
all of Raven.
All of Raven?
It was just all of Raven. That's why it was only like 240 people.
Oh yeah.
Like
it would be
20
like
something,
several thousand if it was all of Activision.
Yeah, it would be like the entirety of just fucking every fucking studio.
yes. So they had their vote, and it was like 19 yes and 3 no, and some undecided.
Always those guys.
Yeah,
always those guys.
Yep. And so
it's like, Jimmy, I don't remember you wearing that suit yesterday. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So I wanted to say, great. I think that's good. As somebody who's had a lot of different jobs for a long time, I know that I've been doing RageSelect for a time, but I mean, I did work before I was doing RageSelect. Yes. Is that I've watched my friends over the years with the current like labor climate in this country, just like get treated shittier and shittier for less and less money, like with more and more responsibility over time. And at this point, I just don't think that there's any way. Like, if you'll excuse me getting slightly political for a minute, I haven't observed an industry where the workers of that industry have been like, management, what the fuck? You're treating us like garbage and not paying anything. And management's like, oh shit, I didn't even realize. Here, have more money and fewer hours, and like we will treat you better and cut our CEO bonuses by 4% this year and give that back to our employees as raises. I have not witnessed that happening. I'm not saying that it's never happened, but I don't feel like it's happened in like Amazon or Starbucks or fucking Activision.
There's like one example. There's like one example out there. There's a specific guy who tweets all of the time.
Yeah.
Who did do pretty much exactly that almost. It wasn't like but he did it himself. It wasn't like they said like terrible shit about him or something. So that's like the only time I've ever heard of it happening.
Yeah.
And he's very popular because of it.
So yeah. So I just don't think that there's any good way at this point to, I mean, we even have the stories of like the Great Resignation, right? When people are quitting their jobs.
Yeah.
And you'd be running these stories all the time where it's like companies needed people. And so they would hire a new person at a base salary over the people that had been working there because they wouldn't bring the people that worked there up to the same base salary, but they needed people so bad that they would end up hiring people with a huge bonus or something that would like essentially give them more money than the people who were already working at the company, which is kind of fucked in itself. Like
I'm seeing it honestly kind of currently.
Yeah.
I can't really say why.
So like the thing is that there's a lot of fucked up shit, and if you want to know more about this, you should obviously go like if you're like, Jeff, you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, that's largely true. Like, I've been self-employed for a decade. Before that, I worked for Hollywood.com, and then you have to go back to pre-Hollywood.com. And even then, I worked for a small company in Austin. Like, you have to go back a ways in my resume to hit like a big corporation. What I do know is that the people that I know from talking to, it feels like people have been pushed to a breaking point, and at this point, that point is like, we're going to start a union now. Here's the thing. I thought about this for a week, Michael, and I was like, we're doing the same old union story. But I wanted to bring up something else. I want to put on my Nostradamus hat. Or what's that dumb hat that Johnny Carson wore when he was the amazing fucking Xanadu or whatever, where he put the
it's like a turban basically.
He put the envelope up to his head. This is a reference for old people. I don't know why I'm fucking saying this. Johnny Carson.
It's basically a turban. I forgot the exact name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Where he would put the envelope up and say the answer, and then he would do
and then McMahon would be like, ha ha,
do the question. So
that's right. Ed McMahon was the thing.
The answer is like, okay, so I'm holding I'm going to do the whole bit. I'm holding the envelope up to my head, and it's like, gamers no longer care about unions, workers' rights, and don't give a shit how much people get worked in the ground. And then I open up thing. What will happen the first time that Call of Duty is delayed due to labor negotiations with the workers' union at Raven?
Wild and crazy stuff.
Wild stuff. So the thing is that eventually, once people are unionized, there will be a point where unions and management are in a dispute and they will have to negotiate.
Yes.
And with the razor fucking thin margins about game development, the more unions you see in gaming, the more you're going to see games that get delayed, not even because of any production thing, but because like QA workers are on strike until they get fucking a new taco machine in the break room. What the fuck is a taco machine?
I want to know what a taco machine is.
A new soda machine in the break room, and like we're not going to fucking QA the new Warzone expansion, and you're not allowed to bring in. Well, you can bring in scabs, and then there's all that shit, right? So like
it'd be like a taco bar. I feel more.
Yeah,
tendered by a man named Jose.
What if it was just like one of those? What is just those old vending machines with the metal circles, but there's just tacos in it.
Tacos
and when you hit it, it just goes. It just dumps a full Taco Bell taco onto the thing.
I could see that.
You got to reach your hand in that horrible, dirty, filthy return slot and pull out a loose taco.
Baja Blast drinks, though.
Yes,
but only that.
Yes. No. Eventually, there's going to come a point where the game's going to be delayed due to union negotiations.
Oh, absolutely.
And the thing is that I feel like even now, even after everything that we've been through with CD Projekt Red, a variety of other companies, game delays, blah, 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 gamers still have this thing where every time a game gets delayed, they're like, and I feel like if we can just all get used to the fact that there's a million games and fucking TV shows and movies and fucking T-shirts and all kinds of stuff to do, like, game delays are okay.
Yes.
We'd rather the games be delayed so that the workers get treated fairly and the game comes out not like a pile of garbage.
I know you want Witcher 4 so you can fuck a unicorn or whatever.
Yes.
But, you should take your time.
Yes.
Don't fucking overdo that shit.
Yes. Because we don't want this stuff to happen again. And there's just no reason. There's just no reason.
No.
Like, who doesn't have a backlog? Raise your hand if you don't have a backlog of games. I'm playing 3 games right now, and I'm not going to finish any of them.
Same.
Like, you've got a lot of shit on your plate. Eat your shit. Like, don't.
I have so many games on my backlog, guys.
I'm playing Hard Space Shipbreaker, V Rising, and Monster Hunter right now, and I'm just and then there's just what I can't even keep up with it in the Discord. Here's the trailer for the Cassian Andor show. Here's the trailer for the Willow show. Here's the 3rd season of The Mandalorian. It's like fuck. Oh god,
Too many things, guys. Too many things.
So
I'm running out of time.
Just everybody, let's just be cool and like let the people get paid and have reasonable working hours, especially QA. QA gets paid like garbage and treated like shit. Like, I think it's okay to bring them up to
normal people.
Treat them like humans. So
they think they're people, Jeff.
Yeah. You know who else thinks they're people? Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Ooh.
He was on a podcast. He was doing like a publicity tour because he just put out this book. That's like,
was it called My Body Is Ready?
No, it was about his time.
You have failed me, Reggie.
It was a little bit about his time at Nintendo, but God damn, my brain. The guy from Bloomberg, Jason Schreier, talked about it on Triple Click, where it's like he said, I read the book, and it's been like. It's a little bit about Nintendo, but Reggie Fils-Aimé had like a career before that.
Yes.
And it's him talking about his management style and like all the things. And so he's been kind of on this book tour promoting his management book. It's like fucking 150 pages or something. Like, it's not even a big thing.
That's not very long.
But he was on this Washington Post live stream, and somebody asked him about the union stuff. And his answer was really interesting because he was like, I don't think it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think that if your employees want to unionize, then as management, you need to accept that challenge and rise to the occasion and deal with the consequences of what happens when you have unions working in your company, and that there's no value to it. It's just, if that's what your workers want and that's what's going to make them happy, then you just need to accept that as a thing that you have to deal with.
That is a good way of looking at it, though.
Yeah.
Because the thing about unions is that unions can also be kind of shitty.
Yeah.
But there's, I'm not going to give the exact examples because that's a very, very hot topic at the moment.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. It's just that, like...
It's like an Invader Zim t-shirt and black eyeliner? Is that what
exactly.
Okay.
Especially in the early 2000s.
It's a really bad joke.
It's a very... We're doing a lot of very, very timely jokes today.
Yeah.
But, yes, he's right though, 100%. Like, if people want to unionize, they should, and then the management should just have to deal with it because they can make their negotiations, and the other side can make their negotiations, and they should always meet in the middle.
Yeah,
they should never always be like a overwhelmingly one side kind of thing. I feel
yes,
because it would be impossible.
I feel like if you look at the general trend, it's like corporate profits keep going up, and people people's salaries don't go up in commensuration with that. Like, gaming is big business, man. Like the numbers that some of these games pull in are fucking huge. I mean, fucking Elden Ring. I cut it from a previous podcast, but Bandai Namco, is the parent company for From Software. Just like, after Elden Ring came out, there was a story where they were just like, we just raised everybody's salary by like 15 to 20% across the board. Like, just everybody.
That's a very good move. You hang on to those people for dear life.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's a really good attitude to have. And Reggie seems like he was a good, like, he was a good leader. Like, there was another story that came out where
people loved Reggie.
He like would have like meetings with employees, and there were some people that were like, "Yeah, I was never invited to that building where we had the meetings, and I was a contractor." But like, all in all, nobody's a fucking comic book hero who works in business.
No, never.
So, but Reggie seems like at least not a piece of shit. Like,
some Nintendo leaders were probably the closest we've ever gotten with some of these leaders.
Yeah.
Him, Iwata, especially Iwata.
Some of them were like, the original founder of Nintendo was a real piece of work. Yeah. That guy was a piece of shit.
He was a terrible person. But yeah, there's a lot of guys that who were in charge of Nintendo that did a lot for their company, and I highly appreciate those people.
Yep. Let's see. From there, let's move over to the FTC. This was kind of just a one-off story that came out that I think is really kind of interesting. Apparently, the FTC is looking to like crack down harder on influencers, or not just influencers, but just general social media, like brand posting, right?
Yeah.
So they have a few different things they talk about. One is that and this is like, they're putting out this kind of like speculative proposal, which you can go read on the FTC's website, and then apparently it's like open to public input until like October of this year, when they're going to have an open forum, and then they'll vote on it and that kind of thing. So a few of the examples that they give was, one, they said that like platforms need to have like much more explicit tools to mark something as sponsored content.
Yes.
Like that it shouldn't, like the entire onus shouldn't fall entirely on whoever the person is that's doing the sponsored post, to make it clear that this was like a sponsored post. Like, not just like at the end be like, product may have been provided for purposes of reviews, blah, blah, blah. Like,
like they can't, like they can whisper real quick, oh, by the way, I got paid for this.
Right. So that was one of the things they talked about, was that like platforms need to do a better job of setting this stuff up. Another one that I thought was really interesting, I never thought about this, and like this is one of the reasons why, I cut a lot from this podcast, but I'll leave this in because I never heard this scenario before, where it's like a company that has like testimonials, right? That the testimonials are like very overblown. They're just like, oh, I lost 30 pounds with this jelly bean. And then it's like, at the bottom, they'll have a thing that's like, standard deviation within 15 pounds. Most people lost 10 pounds or fewer, blah, 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 blah.
No.
Right? And what they'll do, apparently, is they'll make a version of this commercial that, say, is entirely in Spanish. And then they'll put the part that I just said, the disclaimer, in English. And then they will Facebook ad target it to Spanish-speaking people who probably understand the claims that the ad makes, but not the English disclaimer that's at the end.
That's interesting.
Even though the disclaimer is 100% in the ad, you've now targeted it to somebody that cannot understand the disclaimer, or who has a much lower chance of understanding the disclaimer.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, you guys are fucking evil.
I never thought about that.
Evil shit right there. Another one of them is, and I'm hoping the entire mattress industry is quaking in their boots, is like, if you put customer testimonials on your website, you can't suppress the bad ratings. Like, you can't just put the 5-star reviews. If you choose to make a website where somebody can write a review for your product and post it at the bottom of your website, you can't bury the 1-star reviews where they will never be seen, like way at the bottom. Yeah. You have to like surface them with the rest of the stuff. And then there's a bunch more stuff that's talking about very specifically like how if a product is marketed to children, you have to be very explicit about what your claims are. You can't like play games because children will get tricked.
Yes.
And like they do not have the cognizance to be able to understand your dumb games.
That's right, kids. If you buy G.I. Joe, you too are an American hero.
Right. So I thought this was really interesting because it was like, yeah, I agree. I think, I mean, I don't know.
That's a good move.
It
was a huge issue for a while, especially when Twitch really started. There's a lot of people just being like, this gamer fuel's the fucking best. And then they wouldn't say shit about that they were being paid for it.
Yes. Yes. Tastes like garbage and makes me jittery.
Yeah.
Delicious.
And they have the fake smile and they're like, oh, it's so good. And they're like twinging.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the last time I watched like a game review.
It's been a long time.
I just look at the Metacritic score, look at the footage, and fucking decide for myself.
I decided to watch one of the X-Play reviews for, I think it was Evil Dead, but I was like, this is really just a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
It wasn't really even an interesting review.
Let's see. From there, we're going to move on to some more corporate stuff. Apparently, EA is looking to sell themselves. Like,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
if you buy it now, it'll cost you another $30 to get the rest of it.
This is a weird fucking thing. This is a weird fucking thing. Apparently, like, okay, so apparently they were in some really big talks with NBC Universal that kind of broke down a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting.
But apparently they've also been in potential acquisition talks with both Disney, Apple, and other companies.
Oh.
But in true EA fashion, it appears that what EA wants is to get acquired with the express stipulation that, like, Andrew Wilson still runs the company and they're completely independent to do whatever the fuck they want to, but they're just doing it as a wholly owned subsidiary of Company Y.
No one will say yes to that.
Well, I mean, it's what Microsoft has done, right? With the like Bethesda, right? They're allowing them to operate independently.
Yeah, but that's Bethesda. That's like a smaller company.
Well, this is EA. They got they challenge everything. Like, don't challenge them. They challenge it all.
That's fair, I guess.
But, it's interesting because this article pointed out how, like, EA has currently lost the exclusivity license on Star Wars, right? They kind of pissed that away. And then, what was it, 2 weeks ago, where we had the story about how they're not renewing with FIFA.
Yeah.
They're starting up their own football club.
Which is a huge fucking thing.
Branding. So... like they've still got, I guess they've got like UFC and
they've got quite a few still.
Some other sports stuff.
And they're not
Jedi
NBA
Fallen Order. What's that?
They're not the ones who do NBA, right?
I think it's 2K.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But Madden is a huge thing too.
Yeah.
So
and then they've got like Mass Effect and Dragon Age and
yes, those other things. Those things that sometimes happen.
They've got a lot of stuff. I think it would be interesting to see EA get acquired, but I also wanted to. I've spent a lot of time this week thinking about what I wanted to say on this podcast, unlike regularly where I just fucking run my mouth. But the thing I wanted to say is that I really, really don't want EA to get purchased because this trend is starting to get concerning.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
We're really consolidating too much power under too few companies.
100%.
So I don't want more companies to keep oozing together into bigger and bigger and bigger octopuses.
I'm only cool with the idea if they were already just not really doing anything.
Yeah.
Like if somebody bought the gaming division of Konami, I wouldn't say anything about it. But but with EA, they actually do make a variety of games, like legitimately.
I'm sorry, it's funny because I don't think I've talked to you about this, even though I looked up last week. Did you listen to the podcast last week?
I did not. I didn't get a chance.
Did you know that 2021 was Konami's biggest, most profitable year in the game sector?
Really?
Yes, because they released a shitload of games in Japan that did not come out here. But like that Yu-Gi-Oh game, that card game that came out, did like gangbusters. There's this weird train board game thing that sold like 3.9 million copies in Japan. That just is a property that we don't have. Like,
that's interesting.
There's all kinds of shit that they put out. I think there was like a cricket game or something they put out in Japan that did fucking gangbusters. 2021 was Konami's biggest year of profits, and most of that came from video games. Like 70% of it came from video games.
I don't know how that's possible.
And I was talking to Bryce about it, how it's like we sit around and we're just like, but there wasn't a Metal Gear or a Castlevania. And it's like, right, but that doesn't fucking matter. Like,
how did Get Safuma do?
that was another one. That was another one from that year, but which apparently did okay.
Good for them.
Anyway, no, fuck Konami.
I was talking about Get Safuma.
Oh, okay. What was that other Konami game you and I played?
Oh, the Sherlock Holmes one?
Was that?
That was a Konami game.
What was it? Wait, which Sherlock Holmes one?
The one where it's the AI Sherlock Holmes and the
oh yeah, Crime
AI
Site.
thing.
Crime Site. Yes.
Yeah,
that's the one. That's what I was thinking of. Anyway, speaking of giant mergers and acquisitions, do you know, Michael?
The Muffin Man?
This is a quiz show now. The biggest gaming acquisition in the video game industry happened this week. Do you know what it is?
Was it the Zynga one?
Yes.
Because I saw somebody share that on my face page.
Yes. Take-Two and Zynga merged.
Which is surprising.
To the tune of $12.7 billion.
Oh shit, really?
Yes.
Is Zynga really worth that much?
Well, I mean, that was like like they merged. They didn't acquire. Like they came together into one company, but it raised the stock price to the point
fucking
where
crazy.
Yeah, it was like $12.7
I live near a Zynga place somewhere here in Austin, in North Austin. I used to pass by it all the time.
What's so weird is that Zynga's like Konami, right? Where I'm just like, they still have like Farmville, I guess, and they've got some like mobile games, but
well, they're making that Star Wars game, aren't they? They're the ones who are making that.
I think they're making something. But in any case, I mean, again, I don't really like this.
That's a weird fucking thing.
Like,
either way,
I don't really like this all that much because I feel like it means we're just going to get like phone versions of Grand Theft Auto and BioShock and
I already have the phone versions of Grand Theft Auto though.
Borderlands.
Well, the Borderlands one would be interesting.
So, but it's weird because the Activision Blizzard Microsoft acquisition has not gone through yet. So technically, right now, this $12.7 billion is like the biggest gaming acquisition on the market. So
that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's so weird.
I mean, I kind of am a little ambivalent about this because I don't give two shits about Take-Two or Zynga. It's like, I mean, even
it's a weird fusion.
The stuff that Take-Two owns, it's just like, cool, Grand Theft Auto Online and Farmville are now the same company. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't fucking play either one of those.
Take-Two's notorious for a lot of things, though, so
yeah,
we'll see if they, with the notoriousness of Zynga, we'll see how that plays out.
Is Zynga notorious?
They were for a while there because of the fact that all they made were like really weird phone games, and so they were just like they were kind of just shitting stuff out and still making money, and people were just kind of annoyed with it.
Who sings that Notorious song? That song's stuck in my head now.
I don't know which one you're thinking of.
One from the 80s, like Notorious.
Oh, okay. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not the biggest fan of this continuing trend of more and more companies oozing together into bigger and bigger corporations.
It's because they realize once they fuse together, they can make more money by firing more people.
That's true. And I think necessarily you're going to get fewer games. But then also, I'm starting to think that like most of the games that I'm really enjoying recently have been coming out of like little indie studios and stuff, you know, or a company like Capcom that doesn't seem like they're in any rush to get acquired by anybody. So
really, they're really what I love about Capcom is they're more into partnerships.
Yeah,
it's the same with this Platinum. Platinum's really good about that too. They're more about partnerships than anything else.
Oh, we'll get to you, Platinum. Don't you worry. Let's see. Next up for big corporations, Sony is getting sued again.
Oh, jeez.
This is not necessarily a big thing. I remember it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. There was a judge in California that threw out the lawsuit from the gender discrimination lawsuit from this lady that worked there, because they didn't present any like evidence or it was
just weird, like this is what happened this day. It's like, cool, but do you have anything that shows that?
Yeah, there was a real lack of evidence thing. Apparently that lawsuit was not dismissed with prejudice, so that same person has now kind of reconfigured their lawsuit. Instead of being about all of Sony, it's specifically Sony of America located in California, and instead of being class action for all employees, it is like this person and the 8 I think it's some 8 women that came forward. The scope has been dramatically reduced. New evidence has been brought. This is kind of what generally happens when a suit is not dismissed with prejudice, is you get a chance to try it again.
Yeah. Basically, just come back with more stuff, and then we'll look into it.
Yeah. At the meat of this, it's basically the accusation that Sony has kind of got this systemically sexist culture. It is. I've tried looking into this one a bunch of times. It is not entirely clear to me whether this is the same kind of systemic sexism we're seeing elsewhere, or whether this is something different. There's fewer like
Sony branded.
There's fewer stories, right? Like when the Activision Blizzard stuff broke, because of the California Department of Fair Housing and Development or whatever, we got like the stories in the brief about what had happened. Whereas,
although for some reason I'm picturing like the dude dressed like Crash Bandicoot fucking with people.
Oh god,
the whole time just being
the worst,
a weird fucking dude.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean the thing is that if they've got new information and they're able to prove their case, great. I don't believe that people should be harassed in the workplace.
No, they should not.
I'm taking a bold stance here,
especially if they're dressed like Crash Bandicoot.
Don't do it. Yeah. Why am I getting an ad for a motorcycle accident attorney on the video game webpage?
Because you need to know about Thomas J. Henry.
Thomas J. Henry.
I've heard so many commercials about that fucking dude over the years.
This look on this guy's face? Never mind, they can't see that. All right, anyway, PlayStation.
It looks like he heard somebody farted.
We're talking about PlayStation. So the PlayStation Extendo thing, the deluxe PlayStation Plus thing that's happening, has launched in Asian regions. And there's some problems.
Yes, I did read some of this.
Yes. So the first big problem is, much like when the PlayStation Classic released, it appears that the versions of the games that you get with your subscription when they're PlayStation 1 games are the PAL versions, not the NTSC versions. For anybody that doesn't know, PAL has a refresh rate of 50 hertz and a frame rate of 25 frames per second. In North America, NTSC is 60 hertz and 30 frames per second, generally considered to be the more preferable like option. It's a little weird that this has happened. There has to be a reason for this that we just don't know. Like, it can't just be Sony sitting around being like, should we give them the good version or like the crappier version? They're like, I hate them. Give them the crappier version.
I feel like it might be an emulation thing. Maybe it's just the lower frame rate and stuff just makes it easier to emulate.
See, I maybe, but like that PlayStation Classic, people found that you could hack it really easy and put NTSC ROMs on it.
That's true.
Without a problem. So I feel like they...
maybe that's just the files they have or something?
I think it might be a licensing issue. Like, it might be that the rights to stuff that they have it in Europe, but like not the full worldwide rights for it.
I can see that.
So they can release the European version because, I mean, like, for anybody who doesn't know, PlayStation is huge in Europe.
Yes,
like,
they're massive.
Japan and Europe are fucking PlayStation countries or continents or whatever.
That's the reason the Xbox had such a hard time.
Yeah.
Really. Even now, they still have a hard time.
Yeah. Like, the Xbox dukes it out with PlayStation America, but, like, the war is won in Japan and Europe. Like,
100%.
PlayStation and in Japan Switch, but...
They try constantly to get more people to play their games.
Yeah.
And then they're like, nope. Nintendo and PlayStation all the way in those countries. That's why they get so many like crazy fucking special editions compared to us.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's unclear whether this is, I mean, and also, but see, also, this is the Asian version of that service because it's only rolled out in Asian territories.
Yes.
Currently.
Which is still weird, but interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very strange. Well, the other thing is that, like, okay, I know that Sony is obtuse and stupid and shit, right? But, like, they got backlash when they put out the PlayStation Classic. Like, people were online like, this sucks. I hate that you put these versions on. No. So they had to have, like, heard that. So there has to be a reason that's more than just, like, malice or stupidity because they know that people want the PAL versions. So,
I feel like you're giving them too much credit.
Am I? But maybe. Am I? I don't know. Also, it's worth remembering because we've got like 5 stories back to back here about how the PlayStation, this new PlayStation Plus online service kind of sucks.
I'm not surprised, to be honest. But Game Pass wasn't the best when it started either.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, is that there's a lot of this stuff that it's very possible might get sorted out.
If you listen to some of our old stuff, I made fun of it quite a bit.
Yeah.
when it started.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, it took like 6 months to a year for them to really get it going.
Because I remember when it started, it's just like, yeah, you can play Gears of War and Halo.
Yeah.
It's like, what else you got?
Sea of Thieves!
We have Sunset Overdrive, which is not a bad answer, but there was not a lot of things at that point. Because Xbox did not have any games
yes, that's
that
true.
anyone cared about for quite some time.
Yeah. So we have, like as I said, we have a bunch of stories from this. We also found out that so this was a bit of a storm in a teacup. I don't know that it got entirely like. I think it's been resolved at this point. But the thing is that so if I understand this, because it's kind of a lot of math, and I don't really do this, I do month to month. But the thing is that what people were saying was, if you had stacked up like 10 months of PlayStation Plus and you bought it at a discount, that then if you converted that into the highest tier of the new PlayStation thing, you had to pay the difference of what was knocked off of the price. So instead of like if it was $50 a month and you had bought 5 months at $40 a month, you had to pay 5 months of $10 a month in order to convert that time, because it was like they wanted you to make up the difference.
Yeah.
This happened very early on, as I said, in the Asian regions, and people went online and they were very upset about it. They were like, Sony, you're so greedy, piece of shit. Sony actually put out a tweet saying, due to a technical error, players in Asia who have previously purchased a PlayStation Plus membership at a discount have been incorrectly charged for their upgrade pricing. The error has been fixed and impacted players will receive credit. Thank you so much for your patience. So, again, this would not be the first time in my life that I've watched Sony cock up a relatively simple to roll out thing.
Oh, absolutely.
That should be just business as usual and no big deal. And they're just like, but what if it was a lot more complicated and harder? And maybe it cost more too and you got less from it. And it's like, I feel like Sony with the PS5 and this stuff, it's like they haven't exactly gone back to my opinion of them when they were PS3, but they're on their way.
They're getting pretty close.
Like the PS4 was a wonderful time to be a Sony fan, because they just were like, straightforward. Here's good games. Here's a good system. Go. And now it's like, okay, there's 3 different tiers. And this one gets you these things, and this one gets you the other thing. And also, our console doesn't really sit horizontally correctly unless you put a thing that doesn't lock into place in the back of it. So if you ever move the console, it slips off, and then the weird fucking modern art panels on the outside get all fucked up. And
it's a pain in the ass. It's a giant pain in the ass.
Yeah. Every time I accidentally touch my PlayStation 5, I've got to the thing is that I replaced the plates with the black plates, with the D-brand plates. And so now it's like I have to turn on my phone's flashlight to find the little thing of symbols where the little like balancer has to go. Yeah. It's just like, fuck's sake, guys. Was there not a way to clamp this? Could you not have just put little clips so that it like clicked into place?
It's real easy for you to do it too, because on mine, the way my section is set up, it's really, really difficult.
Yeah,
because I have something over it.
Oh, you've got like an entertainment center?
Yeah, I have an entertainment center, so I have to like really fucking fight it.
Damn.
to fuck with it.
Let's see. In addition to that, we also found out, and I don't know if this is going to be like a big ass what to people, but apparently if you got PlayStation Plus and you're streaming PS3 games, none of the PS3 games will have any of the add-on content in them. This was the way that it was in PlayStation Now, but apparently this is also the way that it is on the new PlayStation Plus tiers. Even if like you own if you own the PS3 game, that you're still getting the streaming version, which doesn't have the DLC. So even if you previously purchased DLC for the PlayStation 3 game, it's not going to be reflected in what you get when you play the game.
Because it has to download it. Yeah, and it's not going to. You can't download something during a stream version of it.
Right. This, of course, will not be affecting PS4 games because
it doesn't affect the PS4 ones, of course, because you can put them on your console.
Right.
And so that's why that works. But they have no way of making that work on the PS3 thing, which is a shame.
Indeed it is. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sort of. But it's not all bad news. There is some good news. So we first got we got a report saying that the PS1 games that you play on there will have some kind of like CRT filtering options and rewind functions, quick save functions, and strangely enough, I just got this one at the last minute. Trophy support for like PS1 games. Like they're adding in trophies for PS1 games.
That's interesting.
So yeah. Do you, when you play retro games, do you ever turn scan lines on?
Sometimes it depends, though.
Yeah,
I've only done. I did it more out of curiosity.
I never do. I'm not like, wow, I want it to look worse.
Well, I finally, I really understood the use of scan lines over the years because I didn't really get it originally, but then it's like, oh, because the people designed it to look different because of the scan lines,
right? And
they use it to their benefit. But the thing is, most people don't care nowadays.
Yes. Yeah, so we found that out. We also found out, this is really interesting, that Dino Crisis is probably coming to the PlayStation Plus catalog. It was interesting because the way that this was found out was in the Asian territory. They had a screenshot that had this thing that was like the classics catalog, and the person in the thumbnail was, what's her face? Regina,
yeah,
from Dino Crisis. And it's like, it would be really weird for you guys to put the main character of Dino Crisis front and center in the graphic for the PlayStation 1 game catalog and not have Dino Crisis in there. So
that would be amazing if they did that, though.
But I'm pretty sure that Dino Crisis was on the was backwards compatible PS1 on the PS3 library, because
might have been.
Matt and I played Dino Crisis, and I don't have a PlayStation 1. So most of the games we played for the Asylum were backwards compatible games, PS1 games that were on the PS3.
Oh, the downloadable ones?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's already there. So
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm pretty sure a lot of the stuff that's on there were ones that were already downloadable. They just needed to make some work with the licensing.
The big thing is obviously like you had to play it on PS3, right? So the PS4 was not able to play those PS1 classics games, so now if they're going to be available, great. So it would not surprise me in the least if we saw Dino Crisis before.
There were a lot of PS1 games on there, by the way, so I'm actually pretty excited to see if all of them end up on there.
What I'm waiting for is to see if they put PS2 games that are not the PS4, like
remastered ones,
because I believe all the PS2 games that are on there right now are the ones that they put out on PS4 remaster, because there was like Siren,
Max Payne 1,
Dark Cloud,
Red Dead Revolver,
Jack 1 and 2.
There wasn't a lot.
Rogue Galaxy, but they were all ones that were already on the PlayStation 4. So I'm waiting for them to put out shit that was not on the PlayStation 4 to show me that they can, because I can already play all those games. I have a PlayStation 4. I can just load it up and play Rogue Galaxy, whatever. I made fucking videos on Rogue Galaxy, I think. So, let's see. Speaking of subscription game services, Ed Freeze, who was or Fries, I don't know. I would assume it's Freeze, but...
Well, it's spelled like Freeze from fucking Victor Freeze, so I'm going to go with it.
Victor Freeze, who was the former vice president of game publishing on the original Xbox, was on a show this week, and basically kind of said that he was very concerned. He was nervous about Game Pass. And his rationale kind of makes some sense, but not all the sense.
It's not an insane rationale, is the thing. It's not an old man yelling at cloud kind of idea.
Yeah.
It's more just like, I'm just worried that game sales won't be as big, and it'll cause more niche game releases,
right,
instead of the way it is now, where there's a plentiful amount. Like, he's worried it's going to be the MCU issue kind of thing, where only like big fucking titles will sell, and all the small titles will just get fucked over.
The comparison was made to Spotify, the way that Spotify changed the music industry as opposed to buying CDs. But like I don't know. I have really mixed feelings about the music industry, because like I do feel for the artists who are on Spotify, but by the same token, it's not like when I was buying physical CDs, like those artists were getting this shitload of money from me.
No,
they were still getting pennies on the dollar, and you heard constant stories of people all the way up. I mean, to now, of musical artists who are just like, the only money that I make is on merch, right? Or they'll pay them some lowball thing for like a 5-record deal, and they have to make back like what they were loaned for like studio time and promotion and stuff before they even make a dime off of it. The music industry sucks.
It's a terrible fucking business.
Like, it sucks. So I in some ways I'm like, Ed, I just feel like this is what you switch from the crappy music industry to the crappy iTunes industry to the crappy Spotify industry. And meanwhile, like, if you're an indie band, you just have to get people to buy your shit on Bandcamp, right?
Yeah.
And the same is probably true of video games, where like, yeah, it's going to be great if you get onto Game Pass or the Epic Game Store or whatever, but then there's also going to be games that just don't fucking make it, that are on Steam, like, or that do make it just on Steam, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you can't honestly sit here and tell me that the Xbox Game Pass would have picked up Vampire Survivors if it wasn't like a big thing with streamers, right? If that game was just what it was, you cannot tell me that they would be like, get that shit, get that immediately. We have got to put out Vampire Survivors, or Among Us, for that matter. Like,
Among Us is an interesting one.
Yeah. Like, a lot of times the stuff that's popular, you don't know. That fucking V Rising game that came out last week sold 1 million fucking copies.
Oh, wow.
Like, you know, you can't tell what's going to work in the video game industry. So it's kind of different than the music industry, where gamers are so fucking weird and temperamental and judgy that, like, you can put out a game that you've marketed back and forth and up and down, and people be like, nah, I want to play the game where Dracula fucks my wife. Like,
well, the thing is, the music industry is a lot like that too, because there's always the meme where it's like, I listen to a bunch of heavy metal and then I switch to sea shanties,
right? And
then you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, TikTok's all about sea shanties right now. But I mean, even TikTok is no, like, I watched some news shows, and there was a thing about, well, who's the there's a thing, Michael. God, it's okay. It's one of the.
I was like, I don't know what you expect me to say.
Okay, it's one of the music people. She got like a single name.
Usher?
No, it's a lady. Halsey. Halsey has like a new song.
Okay.
And her record company has her under a contract. She doesn't own the masters, and the record company is like, you need to get a viral TikTok to make sure that the engagement is up high enough so that when this song drops, we get maximum engagement. And she's like, I just want to put the song out. Like, no. You need to generate a viral TikTok moment in order to get people with eyes on you, because we're not just going to release this into void. You need to have like some heat behind you before we put out your new single.
Jesus Christ.
And it's just like, good. It's good to see the music industry is full of insane ghouls.
Yeah.
Just ghouls.
Just expecting weird shit that they don't understand how the internet works. They really don't.
Yeah. So
you'll make it work. You got it. Make something viral.
No,
it's like, no, that's not a thing.
So she made I'm sorry, I'm going off this. I watch this Philip DeFranco show. He does that stuff.
Okay.
So she made a TikTok talking about how her label is holding her music hostage and will not allow her to put out the thing. And people got really mad at the music label. And so her TikTok went viral. And then she was like, hey, can we put out the music? And they were like, it's not hot enough yet. It's not enough engagement yet.
Jesus Christ.
She was like, well, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do.
Jesus fuck you guys.
So
fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's some dumb shit. That's your quote of dumb shit right there. I mean, I could have that story. That was how Philip DeFranco explained it. I'm just saying what he said.
Pretty much.
I could have it wrong. Who knows? Fucking come at me in the comments
way.
and tell me I don't understand TikTok. Of course I don't.
Maybe she can ask Cortana to help her out.
Of course I don't.
Yes, that's Dr. Halsey's joke.
That Halo show ended. Did you watch all that?
I know. I got through the first 3 and I forgot to keep up with it.
Apparently that dude fucks.
Yeah, and then the internet got mad that Halo. I was about to say Halo fucks.
That Halo guy was fucking everyone.
Yeah. Turns out Halo also fucks and doesn't afraid of anything. But
yeah.
People are mad about that. I don't understand. I guess it's because they're mad that they're no longer they no longer sympathize with Master Chief because they don't get laid. So
Michael, I say this with all the love in my heart, but like, I don't understand you Halo people, and like to me, it's just like, it's a fucking generic Space Marine game. Like, it's fine. It's fine.
Look, I love Duke Nukem, and Duke Nukem fucks. So, yeah, I have no qualms with my characters fucking.
Such was the implication.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, I tell you what, we're just about out of time here in part 1, but let's end with the ridiculous Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2
squared
was announced Did you see how this was announced?
I did not.
Oh, Jesus.
What happened?
Okay. They put out a video. Oh, goddamn, I don't want to watch an ad. Hold on. I can I can get around this. Here's the video. Here it is. I don't really understand this. It's like, this is real. It's real life footage, and it's like all these drone shots, and it's overlaid with like voice from like Colonel Price and Gaz and Roach. And they took a tanker and they put like a piece of the skull guy that's the front box art on it, and then they put the rest of the box art of the skull guy like in a port, like a Los Angeles shipping port or something. And then they put a bunch of the faces of the characters on the shipping containers and flew this drone by them. And then at the end of the video, the tanker like docks in a way that lines the skull guy face up on the port to show the reveal of the cover of Modern Warfare. It's not even the full thing. It's not even the whole cover. Like, it's not even the entire cover art.
What the fuck?
Yeah, tell me what you think. I've seen this already, Michael, but what did you think?
It's some nonsense is what it is.
What does it have to do with Call of Duty?
The amount of money this cost must have been pretty high.
Well, see, I don't think it cost very much money because all they did was have to print out giant decals, and then they just had to like put them on the ground.
Yeah, but fuel's really expensive right now, Jeff.
Well, okay, there is that.
They would have had to pay for the fuel for this ship to do this.
Well, the ship was probably going to dock there already. Like, I actually think that this might be wrong. This might have been gone wrong because look, here's the full graphic. Like, it goes all the way up to the top. You can see kind of the top of the guy's head. It's chopped off here. It feels like there should be a third tanker to line up.
Maybe they ran out of fuel.
Maybe they ran out of fuel.
Fuel issues,
But
Jeff.
what do tankers have to do with Modern Warfare?
Everything, apparently. Maybe everything takes place on a boat. I don't know.
I played Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, and I don't remember. I mean, there was like the...
Well, this is new Modern Warfare, too.
Well, yeah, I played the first one of those, too. I don't get it. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
I don't know either.
There's going to be a full reveal next week. This is the official artwork reveal. It's a guy in a skull mask.
I love the fact that we went full circle again, where there's no again a Modern Warfare 2, and it's going to confuse the internet. It's going to confuse people talking about it for a very long time. Yeah.
Yes. However, there was one more thing with this, where because they started adding data into Warzone, people started mining data out of Warzone and found out some stuff about it.
Is it that Godzilla's going to be in it?
No, apparently not. Why only 2 weeks? So the first is that, like the previous games, it's going to have open access beta first on the PlayStation, PS4, PS5.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to have then the full beta, and it's going to have the standard edition, the cross-gen bundle, and then with an early access to the beta, and then like a big bundle that is just full of like, it's full of dick. It's full of garbage and testicles. I mean, Battle Pass Season 1, 50 tier skips, Red Team Operator Pack, 10 hours of 2x XP and 10 hours of 2x Weapon XP, FJX Cinder Weapon Vault, the Ghost Legacy Pack, which has 12 operator skins and 10 blueprint. Like, what the fuck? I don't give a shit about
I just realized something. Yeah, this will be the last time PlayStation probably has that deal.
Yep.
Because Activision is now under Microsoft.
Well, plus it was a timed thing, so
well, that's what I mean. Like, they probably won't be able. They're definitely not going to be able to be like, "Hey, can we do that again?" They're like, get the fuck out of here.
The interesting thing will be whether they release Warzone 2, right? Because remember that
a good point.
Activision still has like 3-game contract with Sony, I believe, when the acquisition was announced, and so it's like. The thing right now is the idea is that it's Modern Warfare 2, Vanguard, and Warzone 2, so that by the time this comes out, those will technically be 3 separate SKUs that ends their deal with Sony, so that they don't have a deal moving forward.
I think it's odd that they would to make a Warzone 2.
It would be like making Fortnite 2. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's
to
the
me,
thing.
But
That'd be stupid.
Apparently, there's a lot of rumors that that's what they're doing. So I don't know.
Maybe it's just a way of getting them off their back or something.
I mean, here's the thing. I know the answer to this because I know that you don't play Warzone, but right,
I don't.
Matt and I loaded up the Godzilla and Kong Warzone this weekend, and I spent about 30 minutes trying to figure out where the PlayStation 5 version of it was. There is no PlayStation 5 version of Warzone.
Oh.
The version that runs on the PlayStation 5 is the PlayStation 4 version. Same with the Xbox.
Oh.
It's the last gen version that runs on the new gen. So technically, Warzone 2 could be next gen assets with crossplay to Warzone 1, as if this whole fucking thing wasn't already ridiculous and difficult to understand.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We come back. We actually have a pretty reasonable amount of news to get through. So
that's what we say every fucking time.
I know, but it actually is pretty reasonable because this is all this starting here. It's all just trailers and announcements.
So there's nothing new after that?
Yeah, this is the end of the discussion part, and this is the just like
That's
react part. So
that's scary.
Maybe we'll get to some questions. Maybe we'll get to a question. We still have questions. They're still in my email.
Oh, jeez.
So who knows? Put down your bets now. Put down your money. We'll be right back, and you can find out. And did you all place your bets? What do you got? 2-1, 5-1, 4-5, push? I don't know how betting works.
I don't know how it works.
I just know betting words.
Flipping things, I guess.
Flipping tables. Flippy for real.
Make the monies, get your legs broken, that kind of thing.
Yep. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can get to one question before this whole thing is over.
I honestly doubt it, to be honest.
Next up on the hit parade, I feel like this is just... I feel like every podcast is like, now that's what they call podcast. Like Volume 35, another old person joke that only old people will get.
I got the first Now CD for Christmas when I was a kid.
Oh.
That's one of my first things I ever got.
Or what if there was like what is it? It's the Kids Bop version where all the swearing got taken out and all the news stories are about like ponies and rainbows and stuff.
Exactly. Although every now and then they'll keep the lyrics for one of them and you're like, oh, dude, don't do that.
Oh, no.
Don't have children sing about WAP.
Yes. All right. So Battlefield 2042, real briefly. We're not going to stay on this for too long. Remember when Battlefield 2042 was launching and they had a mode called Hazard Zone?
No,
okay.
To be honest.
You might remember the trailer. Hazard Zone was their battle royale mode where like there were these satellites that were falling and then like teams had to fight PvE and PvP to get to it. Hazard Zone is getting not shut down, but no further development will happen for Hazard Zone.
Oh no.
Apparently 2042 needs to like focus their resources on making just like Conquest functional. So like Hazard Zone is not going away as a game mode, but outside of bug fixes, there's not going to be any new maps, any additional content. It's just going to be the same game mode that it is right now moving forward forever.
So it'll still be there, they're just not working on it.
They're just not going to do any updates, which for a battle royale game is a kiss of death, right? Like,
oh, absolutely.
You know, Fortnite and it's not like Fortnite and Warzone are like, meh, yawn, let's just not do anything for this season.
We're only just going to do concerts from now on.
Which, but also considering what? They were going up against Fortnite and Warzone and Halo, right?
And Epic's still around.
Yeah,
or Apex is still around.
The Apex and yeah, it makes me remember how I can't remember. Somebody, if I say this, somebody will tell me in the comments. Did the Battlefield 5 Battle Royale mode ever actually come out? You remember the World War II thing with the big fire?
No, I was thinking about
circling like
I don't even remember the name of it anymore.
Yeah,
I think it was in beta as far as I remember.
I don't think it actually ever came out. I don't think it actually ever finally released.
Not that I know of. We could always look it up later. But
just remember Battlefield's a piece of shit, and remember that when they come out with the next trailer. Just remember this news story when they come out with the next trailer. Boom, done. Did my due diligence.
I still remember the trailer for that thing.
Speaking of big ass news, it's entirely possible that Norman Reedus might have leaked that Death Stranding is getting a sequel.
Here's the thing. I thought Guillermo del Toro already did that.
Well, Norman Reedus did something similar a while back as well. So, not entirely sure, but
because I was on something and there was an interview with Guillermo del Toro, and he nonchalantly was like, "Yeah, I recorded some stuff with Kojima for the next Death Stranding randomly," like just nonchalantly.
Yeah.
And then like a week later, I heard Norman Reedus did the same thing, but everyone's paying attention to when Reedus did it, not so much when he did it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
This was a men's style publication called Leo, and he basically was just like, "Yeah, we started the second one." Like, they were like, "Oh, about the Death Stranding? That was pretty cool, right?" He was like, "Yeah, we started the second one." And it was like, wait, hold on. Fucking, there is no news story in the world that I love more, Michael, than celebrity who doesn't really know anything about video games just pops off with a reveal in some interview with some bullshit that you've never heard of before. And, like, they're also a little bit too big to be chastised. Like, nobody's going to be like, "Fuck you, Norman Reedus, you're fired." It's just like, no.
He's Norman Reedus, guys.
It's Sam Porter Bridges.
He's big enough that you can't tell him to go fuck off.
The real question I have, and I think we might have talked about this last time there was a leak, is, do you want a Death Stranding 2? I don't really want a Death Stranding 2.
I don't, only because the way that story ends is very, like, hopeful and just like, oh, he's gonna have this thing going on in his life. You're like, that's nice.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't really need another one unless it's like
a prequel might be interesting.
Of some kind, yeah.
Might be interesting.
Or maybe even like a side story or something in that world.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with that.
Maybe the what's Troy Baker's character.
I forgot his name. I always thought of him as Troy Baker when he shows up and he's like, "I'm a delivery dude." I'm like, "I know it's you, Troy Baker. You can't trick me with your stupid shit."
What was it? He was Higgs.
Yeah.
Higgs.
Troy Baker.
Yep. Yeah, there was no way in the world when Troy Baker tries to trick you with Death Stranding, you're just like, yeah, I know who you are.
I know who you are, Troy Baker.
Also, even if he had a different voice actor, even if the voice actor for that character was like Morgan Freeman, he like shows up with his cap down and he's being real shady. And he's like, "I just want to slip this. I know you're going over there. I just want to put this one little thing in on. Here you go. Let me just put this on your backpack real fast. All right, bye. And you're like, I don't know about that guy.
That dude's shady as fuck. What drugs did he give me?
It would be cool if there was a whole thing where you could let the mules take his package. This is fucking Death Stranding.
I'd be cool with that.
What is the big thing when the hand comes out? The, like, void out. If there's a big void out. Just in the middle of a mule camp, there's a big void out.
I love the mules because they're so. The idea of the mules is still one of my favorite things I've ever heard from gaming. It's just a bunch of Door Dashers who lost their shit.
Yep. They got way too into it. They were in that rise and grind. They were in that grind set, and then they just got way too far into it. They got
really into that gig economy life.
Can you imagine the idea if you saw somebody like driving for like Lyft, like you saw somebody with a Lyft car, and then an Uber car just like drives up in front of them, and a guy with a gun gets out, and he's like, "Fucking get your hands up!" And he's like, "You passengers in the car, I'm taking you from here."
I used to joke, I like the idea of like watching like a guy from DoorDash pick up a McDonald's order, and they get fucking like slammed into or T-boned for somebody's Big Mac order.
Yep.
So he can deliver it himself.
Well, they don't even deliver it. They just take it back to
They
take it back to the distribution center.
And they just hang on to that Big Mac. That shit's ridiculous. I love that shit so much. But I got to meet Troy Baker at RTX a couple years back.
Oh, that's cool.
He's a real nice dude. Him and Nolan North. They're tall. They're real tall people.
I still gotta say, if you like, this is just a general thing. If you haven't played Death Stranding and you get yourself a PlayStation 5, I think that Death Stranding worked when it came out, but I think it works way better now.
It works so much better now.
Like, I replayed the hell out of that game.
Its story is so much more like relevant than any. Like, I remember when it came out, people were like, "This is stupid. None of this stuff makes any sense."
People locked in their houses that never go outside and just get delivery. That's dumb.
That's dumb. And then it happened, and you're like, "Oh."
And then that shit happened in real life. We were all like, "Oh,
like, oh, Conan O'Brien. Here's an otter hat."
Oh, yeah. Conan O'Brien, the cosplayer.
Yeah.
Or actually just the guy dating the cosplayer.
That's right. Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley was just like, he's the Bridges fan.
No.
He's just like, "Oh my God, Sam Porter Bridges.
I love you."
So there was a response. Hideo Kojima did have a response to Norman Reedus saying that, and it's just this tweet that says, "Go to your private room, my friend," with a thumbs up and heart eyes emoji.
So funny thing is, I saw that tweet and I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about.
And so there's some people that are like, "This is Hideo Kojima lightly chastising Norman Reedus," Or this is Hideo Kojima confirming that there's going to be a Death Stranding 2 because the whole private room was a thing in Death Stranding 1.
It's a little bit of both.
This is like a Walking Dead thing, right? Where
he's got the bat from
Negan or something
Negan's
like that.
bat.
Yeah,
I guess then he's just having him. I assume this was taken like way long ago though.
Yeah, it's like him and I like. You know what? I really like the fact that Hideo Kojima seems like really friendly with a lot of the talent in his games.
Like, he's friendly with like a lot of talent in general. Like Ro Coley, the guy from the hunting one of the hunting things they came out with. Him and like Kojima tweet at each other like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I also love that Kojima will just randomly tweet about movies he watched.
Right.
And that's just a lot of fun.
Right. Also because his tweets are so gentle.
Oh, yeah.
They're just like, oh, I watched this one movie. It was pretty scary, so I think I'm going to read a book for a little while and then go to bed.
There's something wholesome about everything he does, and I'm like, I would love to meet Hideo Kojima.
Yep. So that happened. Who knows? Maybe we're getting Death Stranding 2. I personally could understand why I would understand why we would be getting a Death Stranding 2 because
it did really well.
The first one did very well. The world is established, right? You don't have to start over from scratch.
Yeah.
It would probably sell very well. Sony would probably give you a lot of fucking money for another exclusivity deal, right?
Maybe they'll get the other Boondock Saint to be in it.
Oh God, that fucking movie.
I don't know what that guy's up to. Who knows?
As long as what's his name?
Dafoe.
Dafoe. Yeah, I want Willem Dafoe to be in the next Death Stranding.
And he should just be that character.
Yes.
I'd be cool with that.
All right, let's see. Next up, when it comes to big news from Michael's favorite game, Babylon's Fall.
Oh, God, is it still a thing?
It's still a thing. So Square Enix and Platinum Games have announced that they are extending the second season of Babylon's Fall, because it's like seasons and Battle Pass and all that bullshit. It was supposed to go to May 31st. It's now going to run to November 29th.
Oh, fuck.
And this appears to be so that they can attempt to retool the game and figure out whether they can make it work or not.
Where did we go wrong in this terribly made game?
Yes. So
have you tried just making another game?
It's okay. So you can tell that I was thinking a lot about all the different news stories that I brought this week, and I was thinking like, what's my angle? We complained about Babylon's Fall before, but I wanted to bring something up because I feel like this game came out, and then it was like Babylon's Fall is down to one concurrent player, and then it was like Square Enix Pikachu face, right?
No.
But do you remember, Michael? You've been on the RageSelect podcast. I've been showing you trailers for 2 years of Babylon's Fall. Every so often there'll be a RageSelect podcast where I'm like, here's that trailer for that Square Enix Platinum game that's coming out, and everybody is just like, oh God, that looks terrible. Like
every trailer, that was our thought.
Yeah.
It looks fucking terrible.
It looks terrible. So my question is like, they keep talking about how just like, we have faith in this product and we want to make it so that it's good. And it's just like, before this even came out, you couldn't even drum up excitement with like tailored trailers. Like you made the trailer. You could have shown us the best parts of the game. And every time we saw this game, it was just like, what is this shit? This is garbage.
Yeah, the first trailer I remember, I was like, well, this looks awful, but it's early on. They'll make it look better.
Yeah.
And then the second trailer came out, and you're like, well, this still looks awful, but maybe it's still early on.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a ways away. And then the third one came out, and I was like, well, again, maybe it's a ways away. You're like, no, this shit's coming out in like a few months.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no.
And then it came out,
no.
and we played it, and it was dick.
Just fucking garbage.
It was dick.
One of the worst things I've played in a long time.
They're putting guns in Season 2. So now you've
guess
axes and like shields. I don't know, maybe they're like flintlocks or whatever, because it's kind of but like, what is happening? What is occurring here? Who is making these decisions? Is Square like like, are they run by crazy people?
Yeah, they are. They have to be at this point.
What is happening with them? They seem to be berserk. Like they just you're like sold off Tomb Raider, but you're doubling down on Babylon's Fall? What kind of business decision is that? That sentence makes no sense.
They sold off all of those studios that were making them pretty great critical acclaim.
Yeah.
They were the only reason people paid attention to Square anymore, really.
Yep.
Jesus fucking Christ.
To make Babylon's Fall. And I mean, it's cool that they got Final Fantasy 14 to keep them from going out of business, right?
Final Fantasy 14 is doing really well for them.
But the rest of it,
people are excited for Kingdom Hearts, whatever bajillion 4 thing they're doing.
Yeah.
and Final Fantasy 16 that we haven't heard anything about in a very long time.
Yep. So, true. Very true. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Fucking crazy people.
Let's see. Next up, we've got some GameStop news. I feel like the headline for this is a little bit misleading. GameStop worker sues over alleged labor law violation. Can I tell you what this labor law violation is?
No, what is it?
In New York City, if your job involves more than 25% manual labor, you are technically considered is like in the labor classification of work. And if you are in the labor classification of work, manual labor classification of work, you are required by the state of New York to pay your employees every week. GameStop employees are paid every 2 weeks.
Oh, that's interesting.
This guy is bringing a lawsuit against them saying the amount of stocking and shelving and things that happen, that definitely is more than 25% of what I do. This makes me a manual laborer, which means that I need to get paid every single week instead of every 2 weeks. More of a process thing than anything else.
That's an interesting thing to sue them over, based on everything I've ever heard about GameStop's work environment.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently they're doing it as a class action, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting because I honestly think that, like, well, I don't know. I mean, it's been a long time for me. I've been getting paid once a month via Patreon for a long time. Before that, when I worked at Spill, I was getting paid twice a month, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
I haven't been paid weekly since I was like a temp employee a long, long time ago.
I don't think I was ever paid weekly.
I've always felt like I don't know that there a benefit to getting paid weekly over biweekly that is tangible enough that you would go to court to get it.
The main thing is that you were able to pay your bills a little faster.
Yeah.
As well as like plan a little more accordingly. I've seen people get real excited over being paid weekly over biweekly.
Okay.
Over stuff like that. But a lot of times it comes down to the fact that they spend their money very fast.
Yeah. Which I'm not judging. I spend my money really fast.
I'm not either. I spent quite a bit of my last check like an idiot buying a lot of dumb shit, but I'm glad I did, I guess. I don't know.
But by the same token, I feel like if the goal of this lawsuit is just to like find something to sue GameStop about so that you can sue them for damages, right? So you can get a nice payday in addition to changing whatever the thing is.
I think that's the actual thing he's going for.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Because I think the taxes are actually worse on per week because of what you're getting, I think. But I don't really know.
I don't know. It's hard
I know
to say.
Somebody explained to me the main reason they like weekly, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Okay. I mean, as somebody who's been getting paid monthly for, like, you know, RageSelect is like 9.5 years, or like 9 years old at this point. So, like, as somebody who's getting paid monthly, I really do have to ration. Like, I can't go crazy because this is gonna last me till the end of the month type of thing.
Yeah.
And I got like taxes and stuff. So it's possible that we were just talking about how rich people don't understand being out of money, and it's possible that I don't understand what the benefit to getting paid weekly is because I've had to live with this monthly dump of money for so long.
Is this some sort of peasant joke that I'm too rich to understand?
How much could one paycheck be, Michael?
Exactly.
Yes. Let's see. But that was really just the intro because we also got news this week. The GameStop is getting into the NFT business, baby. Because obviously they got this process started and then the crypto market crashed, but it doesn't matter. The fucking NFT train is rolling out the station. Apparently they're basically looking to do it's like an NFT marketplace. Like, I don't know if they're going to be manufacturing things. What I do know is that the website that they have is the GameStop NFT beta, and there's nothing on it. There's just a form you can fill out to become a creator.
What the fuck does that mean?
Probably. I mean, you're gonna upload your bullshit to their fucking marketplace and then get on their DAO and sell your shit for crypto, and then they get to take 10% of it, right? Like, I don't think they're actually going to be manufacturing NFTs.
No, I doubt it.
Like, I think
this is their like weird bunny mascot from years back.
I think that what happened here, Michael, is that they were planning on manufacturing and selling NFTs, and they were contractually obligated to launch this website, but they were not contractually obligated to actually make any NFTs to put on the website.
That's true.
So they just had to launch the website to fulfill their contract with some DAO, like that they signed with some bullshit, but they didn't have in their contract that they actually had to put anything on it. So it's just this probably going to be here in 5 years with nothing on it. Like,
probably. I wonder if you could trade in an NFT.
Will you guys buy my NFT for 20% of what I bought it for?
Please.
Or maybe 25% credit on another NFT? Or maybe a NFT of a Prima strategy guide? Can you give me an NFT of a strategy guide?
And if you're a pro member, you'll get an extra 5%.
Do you have any Funko NFT pops that I can... Actually, I'm kind of impressed that Funko didn't get in on the NFT thing, right? They've got a lot of assets.
Well, they've already have their hands in exclusivity shit. They don't really need to.
Yeah. They kind of sell physical NFTs, to be honest.
That's really what they do, to be honest. Yeah, you want that gold fucking Sheldon that's Comic-Con exclusive if you do 10 handstands or whatever.
I just said the word physical NFTs, which is just stuff.
It's just stuff.
That's all a physical NFT is just a thing.
Non-fuckable with
an actual
toy.
thing. Yes. Non-fuckwithable tape. That was they sold it to. Who bought the Devolver Digital non-fuckwithable tape?
Somebody did. I just don't know.
Did so fast.
Somebody has it somewhere.
Oh man, I wonder
like
what's on it.
Too.
Yeah,
it was just the presentation apparently, if I remember correctly.
Cool. I would buy that. I actually bought one of their Game Pass shirts. I've never opened it. It's been sitting in my kitchen.
It's been there the whole time. You were really excited. And you're like, I'm just going to leave it there.
Yeah, it's purple. I don't wear purple. I wear black. So, let's see. From there, TikTok is getting into video games.
Oh, jeez.
Apparently, this is already a thing in some other regions. ByteDance already has stake in several video game companies. There are versions of TikTok in other countries. I believe Vietnam, they specifically mentioned, already has a thing where you can like just play games inside of the TikTok app.
Huh.
And then
I wonder if Rambo is one of them.
What the PS4 game or whatever? Or
maybe, I guess. I don't know. I just wanted to make a Rambo joke.
Oh, about Vietnam. Okay. Yeah. All right. I get it now. I was like, what does Rambo have to do with video games?
It has everything to do with video games.
So, yeah, it looks like they're putting together a thing. I mean, ByteDance is actually the owner of the company that is making that Marvel Snap game, the card game that they announced last week, right? Did you watch the presentation they put out last week?
I did not. I just heard about it, and I heard they canceled the Marvel MMO they were working on.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, TikTok is not small, right?
No, it's not. They exploded. I remember the first time I heard about TikTok. It was a YouTuber. He was like, yeah, I heard about this thing called TikTok, and nobody knew what it was at that point.
Yeah.
And he was doing it as like just to fuck with it. And then he ended up being one of the first like big adopters of it. And I thought it wasn't gonna fucking last.
I refused to even install it on my phone.
All they did was reinvent Vines. That's all they did.
The thing is that I already know the algorithm is there to like fuck with your brain to make you keep watching it.
Yeah.
And I don't need anything to do that. I've got my own addictions already, called beer and cigarettes. I don't need beer, cigarettes, and TikTok in my life. So
people still send me some pretty fun TikToks, though.
Yeah, I'm
always tempted to get TikTok for some of those like comic TikToks, but I know I'll be there for hours just looking at dumb shit.
Not me, baby. Speaking of places with a shitload of money, I mentioned before, V Rising, the vampire game that Tess and I played, sold 1 million copies.
That's crazy.
1 million copies. 2 days ago, this story was V Rising sold 500,000 copies, and I had to swap it out today with the one that says 1 million copies.
Good for them, though.
Yeah. They also added an offline mode to the game.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is nice because it has a kind of like a Valheim thing where you're supposed to play it online with people. Oh. And you can set it to just be like a private server that nobody can get into. But now it actually has like you can start the game offline without being online, which is cool.
That's a really big feature nowadays, to be honest.
Yes. I'll be honest, man, that V Rising game's so hot right now. Like, it's really fun. Like, I don't know. I was talking with you about it yesterday. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the video that we did for it.
I was going to, but I didn't get a chance to.
It's pretty rock solid, man. It's just like you create a vampire and you run around, but it's also got like Minecraft and shit. So you only go out at night and you got to like pick berries and craft stuff and kill monsters and suck their blood. And it's got a whole blood sucking mechanic and it's really interesting. So
good for them.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that they managed to get it together. The crazy thing is this is from Stunlock Studios. They're not exactly like a small studio. They made that Battle Right game. Do you remember Battle Right?
Vaguely.
It was like an arena brawler. So it was like kind of like a MOBA, basically. But yeah, anyway.
Good for them.
Yeah.
I'm happy for them.
We also got the news last week that Embracer Group has said that they want to make a bunch of remakes, remasters, and spin-offs, which, considering the fact that they just bought Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, and Legacy of Kain, is good news for everyone.
That's really good news, to be honest. I'm actually really excited at that idea because maybe they'll make a Gex remake.
It's a real testament to the shitty state of the video game industry when some financial company buys a bunch of properties, like sucks up a bunch of properties that some dumbass other company put on sale, and they put out a press statement saying, we want to make games in the franchise that we bought, and all of us gamers are like, oh, thank God. Like,
yes, every single person is just like, for the love of God, just do that.
That's all we wanted.
I don't even care that they're remakes and remasters.
Yep.
Just give them to me now.
Yep. Just Michael,
I want to be able to lock fucking Laura's butler inside a freezer again, but in HD.
Do you know how much money they would make if they just remade the original Deus Ex with modern graphics?
Dude,
they didn't change anything.
Much money.
That thing would sell like crazy. There'd be this whole renaissance of people rediscovering fucking J.C. Denton and the Illuminati and all that bullshit.
There's a million like Tomb Raider games they could remaster that are really popular.
Not only that, but like, can you even imagine
the Legacy of Kain?
Yes, what the internet would do if the Legacy of Kain, if they continued the story of Legacy of Kain,
people would lose their shit.
People would lose their goddamn minds.
All they have to do is remaster it, and they already would lose their shit.
Raziel and Kain and all that bullshit. I don't even like Soul Reaver, but
I don't either, but I get it.
But I get what they like about it. So yeah, the idea of just like finance group buys game properties and says we will make new games in these properties. We're just like, no, thank you. Like Square Enix has just had these guys locked in game jail for so long
for no good reason.
No reason, so they can make fucking NFTs and Babylon's Fall. They make Babylon's Fall, but they couldn't make the second Deus Ex game. Not to mention the fact that they fucked up Hitman. They
fucked up so many things.
Goddamn.
We got lucky that Square fucking sold these guys for peanuts.
The only thing that could be better is if Konami would release their vice-like grip on Castlevania and Metal Gear and let them out into the wild.
I'd be happy with it.
I don't want, and I'm going to be clear here, I do not want Kojima to make another Metal Gear game. I want Suda51 to make Revengeance 2.
I'd be cool with that. I'd be all down with that.
Or who's the D4 Deadly Premonition guy?
I don't remember his name.
Swery.
Yeah.
I want Swery to make Rising Revengeance 2.
I want him to just make a Metal Gear game. That'd be hysterical.
I just want to make a spin-off expansion for Metal Gear Rising that's just about the fucking senator. That's just the big meme again, right?
I love that he keeps getting brought back up. Senator Armstrong is one of my favorite random fucking memes that keeps coming back.
I really hated him.
Nanomachine, son.
I really hated him at first, but now that they've embraced the ridiculousness of him in a way that it was like, the thing is that I feel like when it originally came out that this game was like, take this seriously. And I was like, I cannot take this seriously. Fucking University of Texas football.
They said memes like as a serious ass thing very early on when memes were barely a thing. Revengeance is ahead of its time in many, many stupid ways.
Yes. It's like, it's a lot like Max Payne 3. I just kind of wish it didn't have the words Metal Gear on it.
That fucking clip
That's all.
Keeps getting used where he's like, what are your sources? The sources I made it the fuck up. Cracks you up every fucking time.
Yeah, go guys, if you haven't seen it, go search for like the Revengeance memes. They've just redone all over the place. All of the lines. There's a guy, like some guy that does a really good impression of the Armstrong voice, and they've just like redubbed it to say ridiculous shit.
Stupid shit, and I love it. I love it so much.
Speaking of ridiculous shit, hey Michael, it's a new expansion for No Man's Sky.
For the love of God, we forgived you ages ago.
It's fine, Sean
Just
Murray.
Make a second one at this point.
Space whales. There's space whales now.
Space whales.
There's space whales.
Oh my God.
There's leviathans. There's also. Do you even know what this is?
No,
okay.
I don't.
So, No Man's Sky Leviathan Expedition. There are now giant Titanic space whales that you can interact with and bring into your fleet eventually. Also, No Man's Sky now has a roguelike element to it.
Jesus Christ, guys.
Where when you reload, there's like a synchronization with the galaxy, and it reconfigures things. And it's like, if you die, everything gets reconfigured. But the more people that play for longer, the more the universe synchronizes into one reality. And like,
The multiverse, man.
Also, there's capes.
There's capes?
Yeah, you saw at the beginning. It's like dudes would got capes and shit.
What the fuck, guys?
Like,
I don't understand. Like, again, you guys redeemed yourselves like 2 years ago.
5 updates ago. 5 to 6 updates ago.
And you just keep going.
Yeah.
And going, man.
Yeah.
I'm not even... I don't know what to say.
Like, I'm starting to get mad at you because you just keep making this game
free. That's the thing. They're doing this all for free.
Yep.
Like, they have never been charged for any of these fucking updates. Any other studio would have called this No Man's Sky 2 5 updates ago.
Fuck yeah. Yep.
Good for them.
Space whales. Roguelike.
Whales.
What the fuck is next? Like, what could possibly... At this point, it's like, okay, now it's also a roguelike? Like, what? And next, is it a real-time strategy game? Is it also Homeworld now? Like, is there like tactical fleet battles that you could do?
They might.
Like,
Dude. Don't dare them. They're going to.
Sean Murray's just got a Google News alert, like, spidering the internet for, like, what do people want in this game? And it's just like, oh, yeah, we'll give it to them. They said there wasn't enough content. We'll give them so much content until they beg us to stop.
He's like, Sean, we don't need to do this anymore. We need to keep doing it forever.
More!
More.
Like, fucking,
More.
What's his face in The Last Jedi? Kylo Ren. Yeah.
Jesus. Goddamn, Sean
Just
Murray.
content shooting at us.
God fucking damn. I love you. I really do.
Yep. It's kind of
Crazy
crazy.
bastard.
It's crazy. Crazy. Remember this game has mech suits in it, right?
God damn.
Like it's got mech suits.
He fucking he went all the way.
Worm ride, and you can ride the space worm.
Just
like
fucking, he's riding the space worm, all right.
Somebody stop Sean Murray, please.
Give him money at least for doing it.
Next up, we got a new trailer for Pal World.
Okay, so this is that game we keep making fun of.
Yeah, the one that's Pokemon with machine guns.
Is it coming to consoles? Do we know?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
We need to play this game.
Oh no, weird. Oh my god. There is no actual release date. Oh no. Okay, I don't think it's been announced for consoles yet, but it's 2022 window on Steam. Who the fuck knows? It's probably going to get pushed back to 2023. But
I want Nintendo to say yes to this. I really do. I want Nintendo to put this on a Switch.
This is so weird. You're talking about No Man's Sky. This is really weird. Where it's like there's this trailer where it's got a person with like guns that is just straight up murdering the Pokemons. Like these things look like Pokemon, and you're just like shooting them with a machine gun, shooting them with a bow and arrow.
Yeah,
like just blasting them with fucking lasers and guns.
Double barrel shotgun.
Yep. There's a whole part here where they're fighting Anubis, and the thing is that the characters, they look so much like Pokemon characters.
It's scary how much they look like Pokemon characters. And you can summon them. You can summon other characters.
Yep.
Riding them while using a double barrel shotgun.
Yep.
And a minigun.
This is like a Jigglypuff and a Pikachu had a baby that was also had a chain gun.
Oh my god. I love the insanity that is this game.
Remember also that they had in the first trailer the factory with all of the Pokemon assembling the guns.
Assembling assault rifles.
Yep. It's very weird,
This is the world that the Republicans want.
Okay, Michael, I know the answer to this already, but would you rather play this game or that weird MMO with the Uncanny Valley babyface people with a million instruments and mopeds and dancing and action and adventure and exploration, and also it looks completely real except for the characters look completely wrong. Whatever
Honestly,
the fuck that was.
I want to play this game because it comes back to something that happened way back when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So when we were in high school, me and my friend were talking about something, and this is before Smash 4. The reason I bring that up is because we had a running gag of what would happen if Solid Snake was in the world of Pokemon. But he only used his guns the entire time.
Okay.
And so we used to joke about that all the time. And then, Smash 4 eventually came out with him in it. And so this just reminds me of exactly what our thought process was, of what it would look like. And it feels like somebody finally made that game.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. I really like the era that we're moving into where there are enough concepts and enough like cheap engines and shit out there where it's just like, yeah, man, this looks like a professionally made game, but this was obviously made by lunatics.
Yes.
Because they were like, what if it was Pokemon, but you could shoot people in the face? And they're like, well, as long as we change the Pokemon to not look like actual Pokemon, we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Exactly.
Like you don't have a patent on things that look like Pokemon. You have a patent on Pokemon.
Somebody, I'm imagining that fucking chalkboard.
Yeah.
Where somebody put Pokemon plus guns.
Yep.
And then that was the end of it.
There's a part at the beginning where he shoots the deer thing in the head with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
It just fucking crumples like
It's amazing.
Like it's kind of amazing.
I love it. I'm really excited about this game, to be honest. Because I want to see how this shit plays. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, that's Power World. Go watch this trailer. Power World gameplay moments.
Like Monster Hunter and Pokemon and fucking
Gears of War.
Yeah, the Gears of War.
Or The Last of Us. Kind of like The Last of Us.
Just like fucking hell.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Let's see. From there, we got our first trailer for Homebody. I don't know if you got a chance to watch this.
No, I didn't get a chance to watch this.
This is the next game from the Game Grumps, and I mean it's being made by
their studio,
Rogue Studio. Well, no, the studio that made Dream Daddy was a different studio.
Okay.
This is a different one, but they're making this like lo-fi psychological horror game. It's got a really interesting trailer because it's like it is kind of like lo-fi, but not like PS1 lo-fi.
Yeah,
like
it plays a little more lo-fi.
Yeah, and it's very surreal and very strange, and it's completely unclear just what the fuck is happening in this trailer. And it's got very kind of like synthwave trippy kind of music to it and everything. The only thing is there appears to be like a person in a mask that's chasing you around, but then there's also just a lot of really weird imagery going on in the whole thing. I don't know. What do you think, Michael? It's the first time you've seen this. So.
I'm interested in the idea. The Game Grumps have a lot of money, and they've been willing to use it for just things that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a good chance to do something really, really strange.
Yeah.
With their money.
This is actually supposed to be coming to Epic and Steam really soon.
Oh, that's fast.
So, yeah, which if it was like really soon, like in the next month or two, I think that would be like a really solid move on their part to get people excited and then put the game out, as opposed to like getting them excited and then having it be 2 years and a delay later before it comes out.
And then by then they were like, I don't really care anymore.
As much as I'm the same person who is saying like, let the games be delayed, let them come out when they need to. Like there is also the hype cycle, and if you announce a game too early, your game can get lost in the hype cycle.
Well, that's the thing. You should just keep delaying it until you feel like it's ready that you feel like you won't have as many issues on the way down.
Right. Yep. Yeah, looks interesting. Looks very interesting. Let's see. We also got another trailer, if this tab will close, for the indie game called Reveal, which is like a carnival horror game. Like
I haven't heard that term in a long time.
Yeah, like it seems to take place at like a funky rundown carnival, and it's like a kind of psychological horror thing with a lot of like disturbing imagery and spookies and scaries and stuff. And also this looks really solid. Like this looks like, I feel like we had a big boom in indie horror, and then like it kind of petered out at a certain point, and then we were getting sporadic indie horror. But that like I'm glad to see that we've got some more solid indie horror coming.
Well, what I like about the more indie horrors that we're getting now is they're much more detailed.
Yeah,
because a lot of the indie horror we were getting in the big boom was very Friday. They were very Five Nights at Freddy.
Yes,
where it was very simplistic gameplay and everything was like they looked nice, but they were very simplistic in what they were doing in their animation.
Yes,
kind of thing. And so that was
slender. The 8 pages
kind of annoying after a while.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I think it looks good. Everybody should go check it out. Let's see. From there, we got another horror game. Announcement trailer for Yomawari Lost in the Dark. Do you remember Yomawari?
Vaguely.
It was the kind of like the little like chibi horror game where it was kind of like a top-down thing.
Yeah, I remember.
I think the first one was like a very pixely game.
Yeah.
It was the one that starts where the dog gets run over like right at the very beginning.
Yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah, I actually do remember that.
I got yelled at for that. I think it was me and Amanda.
I think so, yeah. Because I remember that happening, and I was like, whoa.
I'm like, I don't know. I didn't play this. This looks kind of like more of the same, kind of an adventure game. It looks like the characters are now kind of 3D-ish, and that they're using that a little bit. And they're also doing, it's got the same kind of like avoid the weird monsters that come out, the kind of big Japanese weird monsters. There's like just straight up Slender Man.
I was about to go straight up just Slender Man.
So yeah, it looks good though. That's like, it's funny. I like this one enemy that they showed that like it looks like one of the crabs from Elden Ring, except that the bottom of it is a giant face.
Yeah, it's just a giant crab with a giant face.
So
it's a crab people in a much different way.
Yes, tastes like crab, looks like people. It's coming fall of this year. So I assume you didn't play any of the previous Yamawari games.
No, I definitely did not. I watched that one that you guys did.
We got a really brief trailer for Hogwarts Legacy Next Gen Immersion. I'll tell you, we don't have to watch this. It's stupid. I just wanted to say this is stupid. Like it talked about, oh man, the triggers have that feedback, the haptic feedback. But the big thing that they showed in here that I thought was absolutely goddamn ridiculous was the LED in the middle of the controller will change to the color of the house that you're in into Harry Potter, into Hogwarts.
I guess.
So, like, if you're in Slytherin, it's a green light the whole time. And I'm like, cool.
Question mark?
Cool.
It's rare when somebody uses the light for something neat, but at least they're trying to. Because I don't remember what game I played where it was like the bar changed depending on your health, which I thought was really cool.
Well, the original PS4 controller, it's like you couldn't see the light. It was in the front.
Yeah, that was the thing that made it weird. Yeah, so it was kind of pointless.
What's the point? But, and even on the new ones, it's like you could see it just like around the edge of the touchpad. Like,
and for the most part, you're not staring at your controller.
Yeah, so a little weird. Let's see. Roller Champions.
Oh, God, I forgot about this thing.
This launched this week.
Really?
They have a gameplay trailer. Last week, we actually had a narrative trailer. Like they produced a whole cinematic trailer for it.
That's crazy. I remember really liking this though when we played it really, really early on.
Well, it was like 2 or 3 years ago when they announced it at E3, and then we played it briefly.
Yeah, it was like in early access, and we played it for a little bit, and we had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's something different. Yeah. Right? Like it's something that's not a shooty bang bang game. We kind of talked about it last week, and I think everybody should go give this a shot. If for nothing else, than just to send a signal to Ubisoft that, like, please make things that are not just Ghost Recon.
Yeah. Just stop only making Assassin's Creed games and Ghost Recon games.
Yeah. So
there's a market for these kinds of things, because that dodgeball game ended up doing really well too. I don't remember who made that, but that did really well.
Breakout City? Knockout City, that's what it was. Yeah. Because there was the other one. There was the one that Iron Galaxy was making that was like the wrestling one.
I don't think that was
a battle royale, but it never came out. Yeah. It got pushed back. Well, maybe if you're into teams, if you're into fighting, but you don't want to do it on roller skates, you can always do it with your 4 hooves, because them's fighting herds is coming to consoles.
Which is crazy. This game was being developed for fucking ever.
We played this with Matt a million years ago.
It started off, if people don't know, it started off as a My Little Pony fighting game.
Yep.
And it looked really good even then.
Yeah.
And they got a cease and desist letter, because of course they would.
Yep.
But they didn't give up. They ended up just making a whole other set of characters and continued making it. And this has been being made for, it's got to be a decade now or something like that.
And they made a single player campaign,
which is crazy.
It's like a crazy JRPG where you walk around and then get into random battles and stuff.
People were really happy with how this game turned out.
Well, look at the animation for this. It's fucking beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. That's the thing.
It looks like Skullgirls, but almost better in some ways, just because they obviously took all of the animation techniques that made My Little Pony appealing, and then just like put them together with like really talented animators with these different characters, with the llama and like the sheep and all the different quadrupeds. Yeah,
like it's just like they put a lot of fucking work into this thing.
Yeah,
and I'm glad it's finally coming out to the masses, because these people deserve every bit of praise for this game.
It's coming out on PlayStation and Xbox this fall, so
very soon.
Yep. It's going to be actually, and part of this was that they also announced that there's a season pass coming that's going to have 4 new characters.
Interesting.
Additional stages and cosmetics, and that there'll be a $40 deluxe edition that comes with the battle pass or with the season 1 pass, or $20 for the base game, which is also incredibly reasonable as a price for a video game goes,
especially for a fighting game.
Yeah. So yeah, I really hope. Did they say Okay. So they've had events at Evo, but they've never been like in the main thing. Because it is a little bit of, it is slightly casual, right? Like it's not the most technically complicated type of thing like Skullgirls or Street Fighter or something like that.
I'm not even sure on that one because it's a game I've never really got a chance to play, but it's always been on my radar because of everything that's talked about it.
Maybe you, me, and Matt can have the RageSelect tournament this fall when it comes out.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Let's see. From there, you'll never guess who's coming to Brawlhalla. Who's coming to Brawlhalla now, Michael?
Guile?
No, you would think so. It's season 2. It's
oh my god, it's Bison.
More Street Fighter. So it's Bison, Sakura, Ken, and Dalsim, and the guy from the new one, Jack or whatever.
Oh, that guy,
Terry or
I already forgot his name.
Franklin.
It's super generic. I just don't remember his name.
The weird thing is that the Brawlhalla, they've got like a lot of weapons. So you see a lot of like them having like Dalsim has like an axe and shit.
Yeah, because a lot of the times they're skins for people.
This guy,
I forgot. Luke. That's right. I knew it was something generic as fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he's got like guns.
Yeah, a lot of these characters tend to be skins for other characters.
Yeah.
So it's very rare when they're an actual like full on only that character kind of thing.
And then they put in the Street Fighter, the Chun-Li stage.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all right. I still got to play Brawlhalla, but yeah.
Brawlhalla's doing really well. I'm happy for them.
You know, but those skins seem positively regular when compared to the fact that apparently they added Kiryu Kazama into Rainbow Six Siege.
I saw this trailer.
The same game that put fucking Rick and Morty in is the worst Rick and Mortys I've ever seen in my life. What the fuck? Like,
I don't get it.
Kiryu Kazama doesn't shoot people, Michael. Like,
he's not known for that usually.
Yeah. They also put in what's her face, the cop from 2.
Still weird.
It is. And apparently they're not even done because there was also like a teaser for another person, and people are thinking that this is Goro Majima.
I'm 90% certain based on that fucking haircut it is.
Yeah. Again, makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Like
reasons, I guess.
I mean, you know, I'm not generally one to be like continuity, but like, guys, why are you doing this?
It made more sense when he was that skin in fucking Fist of the North Star.
Oh hell yeah!
Than this fucking thing.
Yeah. The cup noodles integration with Final Fantasy 15 made more sense than this.
Yeah.
The Ezio Auditore like integration with Final Fantasy 15 made more sense than this. Like,
shit's ridiculous.
It's a tactical shooter. Why would Kiryu Kazama? Anyway. Well, I know the answer. Nobody gives a shit.
That's true.
The people like me, they're not going to play Rainbow Six Siege anyway. So
Sega tends to whore out their characters pretty quickly.
That's true. Let's see. What else we got here? Lord of the Rings Gollum finally has a release date.
Man, I don't give a fuck about this game. Every time I see anything on it, I'm like, this game does not look like a fun time.
It does not. September 1st, we will get to find out. But it's also been in development for like 6 years or something like that. Like,
people were expecting it to look, not like a cartoon.
Yes.
Which is a shame for those people who were excited about this.
Absolutely.
Also, the Gollum voice is terrible.
I haven't even really looked at it very much. I was never a big enough fan of Lord of the Rings to be like, you know what I really want? Gollum. More Gollum. Not like, the cool guys or anything. Like
the guys who fight and stuff.
Like Gollum.
Who are badass. And
the ones that sneaks around and eats fish heads. That's the one that I want to play.
I want to play. I want to play the dude with schizophrenia.
Yeah. Let's see. Ni no Kuni has an MMO and it is out now.
Ooh.
Did you know this?
I did not.
This is Japan only. Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan last year. But now it is out in the States, and it is both on phone and PC. And it appears to have, some like Ni no Kuni charm to it. Apparently it is like an isekai where you get isekai'd into Ni no Kuni, and you're supposed to do some stuff. Yeah. I don't know where it is. I don't know if you can just get it from Steam or if you just download it from somewhere else.
I'm always surprised when one of these MMOs end up actually finally coming out here.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of big properties that have MMOs out of the States.
Yeah,
there was a Monster Hunter one. I don't know if it's still a thing. There was a Dragon Ball one at one point, and a lot of the stuff from the Dragon Ball one got used into the Xenoverse games.
Oh, okay. But yeah, this is out. I mean, if you're interested, you can go check it out. We'll see how it goes. let's see. Temtem, which was that weird MMO Pokemon game.
Oh yeah.
That was like a Pokemon spin-off kind of game. Is getting a release date also in September for consoles and PC. So it's it's been in early access. It's coming out of early access and going to direct release. It's such a good idea, right? An MMO that you can also poke battle people.
Well, that's only had a shotgun in it.
No. That's for you and me. That's not for the people that want to actually play Pokemon. So people that were just like, you know what? Fuck you, Bulbasaur. Where's my piece? Where's my piece, Bulbasaur?
Bulbasaur used Bullet Seed, and I used fucking 12 gauge.
That's right. We also got the news that the Cycle Frontier, which is the PvPvE game from Jaeger, the people that made Spec Ops: The Line, is coming out in June after 3 years of early access.
How many war crimes can you do in it?
I don't know. It's that kind of game, Michael. I don't know if it's a war crimes kind of game. See, it appears to be, it's
that
like
should be the twists.
An alien planet with a lot of like crafting and shit on it. So I don't know. It's kind of part of a genre of game that I'm not exactly super interested in.
I'm not either, to be honest. I'm glad when people enjoy them, but I've never been into that idea.
Yeah. And then let's see. Last on the release date thing, Replaced is getting pushed back to 2023. Do you remember Replaced in the Thunderful news conference with Mark Hamill? It was the one about an AI that gets trapped in a human body that's like pixel art. It was like super moody. That company that makes that is in Belarus and has like contractors in the Ukraine, and they're just like, yes, there's a war. So
yeah, we're gonna have to delay that.
The video game is gonna get pushed back a little bit. Again, good. You guys take care of yourself. Do what you need. Bada bing, bang, boom. All right. Michael, I have some stuff for you here in the fun part. And, let's go fast. Then we can do one question. Did you see... So there's a current thing that's happening on the internet of people putting stuff in Unreal Engine 5. Did you see about this one? It was like a Gearbox artist that put like they made their own Halo map in Unreal Engine 5 with all the whole specular lighting and everything. It's got a kind of a bad frame rate, but it kind of shows the possibilities of what like a Halo could look like inside of Unreal Engine 5. Did you watch this one at all?
No, I meant to because I got real busy today, but this was one of those ones that I clicked on originally, but I didn't get a chance to really look over.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think this looks significantly better than the current one?
I don't think it looks significantly better than the current one per se.
Yeah.
Only because a lot of the detail in some of the other stuff is, clearly kind of overblown.
Right.
Because of the way the style of it is. But the lighting looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Is the main thing.
Okay. I mean, the fact that the Unreal Engine 5 came out, like a month ago, and that people are already slapping these projects together is kind of like impressive.
Yeah, like if he fucked around with this even longer, he could absolutely make this thing look even more gorgeous than Infinite does.
Yeah. Yeah, looks good though. Man, I gotta say, I feel like when the next gen launched, they started talking about how ray tracing was gonna like change everything, but that they haven't really done that yet. But then you can kind of see some of the stuff with the Unreal Engine 5 where it's like you can take an old game that was made in Unreal Engine and then plop it into UE5, and it's just like adding the lighting model makes it look a ton better.
What's the thing is like ray tracing, I didn't like when everybody would say ray tracing is like the future. Every time they showed it off, you couldn't tell what the difference was.
Right.
I think Spider-Man Remastered was one of the first times I kind of noticed the difference.
Yeah.
But even then, not by a lot. And then, but every now and then, something new will come out, or you look at it and you're like, oh, it makes 100% more sense what you mean when you show me something like this.
I think a lot of it is just if you take a game that already had a kind of a semi-flat lighting and then you add ray tracing to it, it doesn't do a lot to it. Is that you need something like the fact that this demo is happening like at this weird sunset moment on this Halo really shows off the God rays and the way the light is bouncing off of stuff.
Well, I remember when you showed me that Minecraft one, where when they're in the lava area, and I was like, holy shit, that looks amazing, kind of thing. And there's that's the thing I remember. Sorry, I was remembering the thing I say a lot that people were annoyed by at one point. It was kind of thing. I just remembered. But that was the thing about it. that every time something ray tracing that really showed it off, it made me really understand exactly why I should be excited for something like that in the future.
Did you see the one from last week that was the Skyrim? It was River Run and Skyrim.
I did, actually.
Yeah. Looks real good.
It looks really, really cool.
Looks real good. Yeah. The thing for me is I'm more impressed by how fast people have been able to crank these out, because that to me is more interesting than the idea that they look really good, is the fact they're also apparently pretty easy to put together. Like,
what makes that exciting is we'll get more indie guys who are able to make games that look gorgeous.
Yeah. Speaking of which, when is that? Remember that weird Devil May Cry meets Final Fantasy game that one guy is making? Where is that?
I don't know. That was one of the things I thought about that.
Yeah. Let's see. We got some Souls news. We got the voice actor for Blythe in Elden Ring, is the wolf-headed guy. This was off of BuzzFeed Multiplayer. Just reading thirsty tweets about Blythe, about people saying that I want Blythe to kiss me and fuck me and do stuff like that.
Is it Blythe this whole time?
Yes.
I've been calling him Blade this whole time.
No, it's like Gaelic or Welsh or something. Like, it's Blythe.
It makes sense. It's just I've been calling him Blade this whole time.
Yeah.
I've been saying it the way it looks like it's spelled, basically.
So this is pretty funny. I mean, if you didn't watch this, it's not like I can put it on for you to listen to. It's all about the audio.
I'm always a big fan when they get people to do shit like this.
Yeah.
There was a time frame when the voice actor for the guy who played Nico's cousin, I forget his name off the top of my head. Roman. He would do a lot of like stupid videos like that as Roman.
Man, you remember how the Nico's voice actor just got fucked?
Absolutely fucked.
So fucked. Ballad of Gay Tony, and it was the Lost and the Damned, where he meets up with him and he doesn't have he's like all the same lines from the main game or whatever.
They fucked that guy over. A lot of people think that's the reason they'll never just re-release Grand Theft Auto 4 again.
Yeah. Okay. Not Elden Ring, but Dark Souls. Apparently, this is something that has resurfaced, but came out in 2019, I believe. Was a mod for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 that is the Firelink Shrine in Dark Souls, and then a character model that is Solaire, so you can play fucking like the Firelink Shrine like it's a fucking Tony Hawk Pro Skater level.
That's amazing.
It's kind of amazing. It just reminds me of the Big Shell MGS2 Substance.
Oh, dude, I love that thing.
Skateboarding level.
I have the version of the theme that plays during that on my phone.
Yep. And last but not least, and we still have 5 more minutes so we can get this in. They took a Kerbal to the International Space Station.
Oh, that's nice.
So this was the Boeing. What was this? Starliner, where they brought a little doll of Jebediah Kerman up to the International Space Station.
That's amazing.
And that's great. And that's wonderful. And I'm glad that that's there. And it makes me happier knowing that there's a little plush Kerbal in actual human space.
And he survived. That's the main thing that I'm happy about.
Yes. You got to reload if Jeb dies. You can't go on without Jeb.
It's true.
Got to restart career mode. I mean, some people will say that you don't have to, but they're savages, and I don't care. All right. We did it, Michael. We did it with 5 minutes to spare. Let's do a question.
Oh, geez.
It's been so fucking
long. How long are these questions?
Let's see. Where did we leave off on the Discord? Let me do.
It's been 1,000 years, guys.
Let's see. These are, you know what? Let's do a few because these are short. This will come from Professor Fett. It's been so long since I've asked questions. I don't know how to do it anymore. How do you do this again? Dear Jeff and Michael, something. With arcade fighters like Smash Brothers, Nickelodeon, and All-Star, and the upcoming WB one, what company would you like to see all their characters fight each other? That would be... Actually, I saw some of the beta footage of Multiverses. Looks sick.
It looks fucking great.
Looks way better.
I'm really excited.
Makes that Nickelodeon All-Stars game look like dick.
It looks like ass.
Yes.
And all of the voices they have in it, too, makes it look even worse.
Yep.
Oh, my God. Those poor bastards.
So what, like, I don't know. I'm generally not the biggest fan of, like, the whole, like, and then so-and-so crossed over with so-and-so, and then
I want to see all of EA's characters fight each other.
Okay.
And then also throw in Andrew Wilson as a secret boss.
I mean, at this point, Michael, once the merger goes through, or once the acquisition goes through, the Microsoft fighting game, because you would have Halo and Gears and a car from Forza, but you'd also have everybody from Skyrim and like
Fallout and
fucking
Doom. DJ Blazkowicz will be there.
Warcraft, Starcraft, fucking Diablo. Like, oh my God, you could actually make like a really, really strong lineup if you were Microsoft, right? And you had you have Double Fine, you have Raz in there.
Yeah, you got a lot of fucking characters. It's unfortunate that From Software doesn't have more characters, because I would also like to see that fighting game.
Do you remember that they put that thing in Tekken, right? They did it in Tekken 7, and they put all those skins in there, and it was pretty good.
It was pretty good. I want to see the robot from Metal Wolf Chaos fight one of the bosses from Elden Ring.
I just want to see. I just want to see a fight between Patches and Richard. So I just want the worst people in From Software games
I'd watch
to have
that.
a fight.
I'd play the hell out of that game.
There is nothing more fun to me. Did you get to Radon in Elden Ring yet?
Yeah.
Okay. There's nothing more fun to me in Elden Ring than when you summon Patches to the Radon fight, and he just fucking nopes out of there. He doesn't even try. He just like summons in, and then it's just like you just get that big message at the bottom saying like Patches has left your game, and it's like, damn you, Patches! Like everybody else is valiantly fighting, and Patches is just like, you can go fuck yourself. I am leaving.
He's like, hi, bye. I'm not dealing with this shit today.
Yep. Yeah, I think my final answer is Microsoft.
Ooh, my final answer is A24.
It's not a game company. What is that?
Nickelodeon isn't a game company.
Well, that's true. But I mean, if it's like movie, nope. I'm sticking with Microsoft. I still think it would be more. I think that would be the most feasible. Like that could actually happen, right?
It could.
You could have, who's the checkered shirt guy from New Vegas?
Oh, jeez, I don't even remember his name.
Like fighting, Mr. Fancy from New Vegas fighting. I don't know. Take your pick. What's one of the off ones? Like, oh wait, hold on. One of the characters from Alpha Protocol.
Oh my God,
because they have Obsidian.
Imagine the Viva Pinata characters.
Oh my God, yeah.
And Banjo-Kazooie and all them.
Yeah, it's not even to mention the characters that Microsoft owned before they started this bullshit.
Yeah.
Like
Battletoads will come back again.
Gaz versus the Battletoads.
Just all of the Killer Instinct characters.
Oh my God, Killer Instinct. Oh my God, yes.
Ultra.
Yep, that'd be amazing. I would totally play that.
I would play that.
Play the hell out of
Microsoft, make that shit right
Come
now.
on, Microsoft. What are you,
PlayStation
cowards?
failed at theirs, those poor bastards.
Inner Slicey says, Dear Jeff and Michael, what's your favorite way a game has given you to save? Dead Rising had bathrooms, Resident Evil had typewriters, etc.
No More Heroes bathrooms I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I know. Weirdo. I don't actually know that I have an answer to this. Like a specific fun way to save your game.
Resident Evil's is the typewriter thing is also kind of fun, but it's also annoying because you got to find the ribbons for them.
Yeah, I mean by 4 they phase that out, right?
Yeah.
So it's just do whatever. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't really have an answer for this one because I mean, I don't know. I like the bonfire system, like the Sites of Grace system in Elden Ring, but that's not like a fun thing.
Doesn't really
it's just
save, to be honest.
Yeah. There's got to be a better way.
Yeah, there hasn't been too many save points. The save points haven't really been a thing all that much anymore nowadays. So when they do, those are the most recent ones, the ones that stick in my head. So I don't even remember some of the old ones anymore.
Yeah, checkpoints tend to be the way of the future. All right. Well, I tell you what. Let's do one email question and then we'll wrap it up. Marcus writes in and says, Hey, Jeff and Michael, for the first time, I've been playing Final Fantasy 13, thanks to Jeff. Oh, I'm sorry. And I consider it the best of the franchise, even better than Final Fantasy 10, 7, 15, and the Final Fantasy 7 remake. I'm here with the hottest of takes. I feel Final Fantasy 13 streamlines gameplay and exploration in a world that's devoid of the ridiculous open-world mechanics common now in most games. Combined with a great cast of characters and visuals, I ended up loving this game. I know many fans did not like this game, considered the black sheep of the franchise, which I strongly disagree with. My question to you is, 1, name a game that's considered black sheep of the franchise. Name a game that's considered the black sheep in a franchise. And 2, what are your thoughts on said game? And 3, do you feel the game is the black is the black sheep in that franchise. Thanks for the content. Rage on level 99 and beyond from Marcus. So, games that you like that were the black sheep of the franchise.
Well, Metal Gear Revengeance is definitely the black sheep of that. Or it used to be the biggest black sheep of that franchise.
That's true.
Until, fucking the new Survive came out or whatever.
I think even 5 has diminished over time. Just the gameplay is there, but the story is not for 5.
Absolutely not. But 5, I was a huge fan of 5, but not because of its story, but very much because of its gameplay.
Yeah, gameplay.
I remember
amazing.
My friend messaging me. I was like 40 hours into that game. And he was just like, "Have you finished the story mode?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's a story mode." And I had upgraded so many things, and I was barely in the beginning of the story.
And there's a certain point in that game where you can level up the characters at your mother base higher than Snake.
Yeah,
and you just start taking randos.
And I did. I was so everything was so high level. That's what made that specific part in the game. I don't know if it's a spoiler at this point, where a lot of them just start fucking dying.
Yeah.
Very, very hard to take.
Yeah. I know my answer. I know my black sheep answer, Michael.
What is that?
DMC Devil May Cry.
That's a fair answer.
I like DMC Devil May Cry.
I still haven't played it all the way through.
I think it's creative. I get why. I mean, of course, I get why. I'm friends with you. Of course,
That's true.
I understand why people don't like it. But I was never connected enough to the Devil May Cry franchise to be upset. I mean, a lot of people took it maybe it comes off as different now, considering all the things that we've lived through in the last 5 years. But I feel like people took it really personally. The thing when the white wig falls on his head and he's like, nah, and he takes it off and throws it away, and everybody's like, I am personally offended that you would insult me, such Dante.
Yeah, that wasn't the main reason we were mad. But if you want to know the exact reason, watch the What Happened video and all of the shit the director said.
I guess maybe that's the thing, is that I just don't give a shit what people say.
We were very much paying attention to that game.
Hideo Kojima could be like, I'm making Death Stranding 2 and fuck Jeff from RageSelect. I hate him. I've listened to every podcast and he sucks. And he'd be like, okay, well, is the game coming out, or what the
I still remember the day they announced it at DMC. I remember vividly the E3 presentation and everybody being real hyped, and I remember the quietness of that room,
dude.
When he says his name is Dante.
I love that. I love that weird Bill O'Reilly, Alex Jones boss fight in the Chirons that you do, where it's inside of the Fox News graphics and stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I get there was a lot of complaints about the way that the game played, and a lot of people didn't like the way that the story went. And I just didn't have a dog in that fight, so it was was it fun? Yeah. Was the story okay? Yeah, because I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. You could be like, all of the previous Devil May Cries were the baby time storybooks, and then we pooped on them and threw them in the ocean, and it's fine, I don't give a shit. Go. Because I didn't like 4. I don't like Nero.
You didn't like 4, yeah.
And I don't like the fact that 4 is you go in a straight line. You talk about Final Fantasy 13. You're in a straight line all the way to the one side of the game, and then you switch characters to Dante and come all the way back to the beginning of the game, and it's just
I think the funniest thing about this isn't really so much an answer, but it's funny to me that Symphony of the Night used to be the black sheep when it first came out, because every Castlevania game was about a dude with a whip, and everything was straightforward, platformy action game. And then Symphony of the Night came in and just fucking changed everything. Yep. And it was very much a black sheep. And then old Castlevania games became the black sheep on accident because of it. And that happens for a lot of stuff. Metroid Other M is the black sheep of the Metroid series.
I feel like Fusion also kind of falls a little bit into that category, because not many people played it because it's just not as available.
That's true.
And the fact that I thought it was really strange of them to make Dread a direct sequel to Fusion. Fusion is the game that introduces the X-Parasite, and Dread is all about the X-Parasite. 100%. It's really bold move of them to make a Game Boy game from the GameCube era the thing that you need to play before you understand how Dread works, as opposed to the primes of
Super Mario Sunshine's another good answer, I feel, because Luigi's Mansion, I love Luigi's Mansion as much as it's not really a black sheep, only because it's a big Luigi game.
Yeah.
Where Super Mario Sunshine is a black sheep because it's a straight line Mario game that has nothing to do with just like defeating Bowser in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like you're doing essentially community service with a water gun. And a lot of people hated that game when it came out, even though it's legitimately a really good game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although it's difficult at times.
I got another. Well, this is kind of like weird. It's more like a company black sheep. Who's the company that makes the Ace Attorney games?
Oh, I don't know the name of the company off the top of my head. But out of all of the Capcom games, they are definitely the black sheep of that series.
And I'm thinking that of everything that they've ever made, my favorite thing they've ever made is fucking Ghost Trick.
That's right. Ghost Trick is I always remember this, and a lot of people don't, about Ghost Trick. So Ghost Trick, one of the ways they
was just Capcom. Was just Capcom.
One of the ways they did the marketing for Ghost Trick is they got a bunch of webcomic artists to make a Ghost Trick webcomic.
Yeah.
Of like just a one that was of their characters talking about Ghost Trick.
Yeah.
My favorite one is the Dr. McNinja one. So in Dr. McNinja, he hates ghosts just in general. And so there's like, so the setup of the gag was that like somebody's trying to assassinate Dr. McNinja. And so the guy in Ghost Trick is like, I'm going to do all of these things to make sure that he doesn't get assassinated. And the second he does one thing, he just goes, there's a ghost in here, and just starts swinging his sword randomly. And so the guy can't assassinate him. He's like, well, I guess that works too.
Yeah. I really just wish that there was a way. I really wish that they would remake Ghost Trick in a way that could just make it one screen on the TV, because it was a DS game.
Yeah.
They really leaned into that. And I don't want them to like emulate the second screen. I want them to just like remake the game in a way that I can play it on one screen with a controller, because it was a fucking great game.
It was great.
I really liked that game a lot.
The only time they ever referenced it after that was there's one of the color skins in Marvel's Capcom 3 for Phoenix was his color scheme.
Yeah. I got one more. I was just glancing at my shelf over there. I feel like I'm the only one over here flying the flag, waving the goddamn flag for Watch Dogs 2. I feel like a lot of people played the first Watch Dogs. I feel like a lot of people were kind of interested in that new Watch Dogs because of the weird switching protagonist stuff. I just don't hear people saying how great Watch Dogs 2 was, and I think that Watch Dogs 2 is like one of my favorite Ubisoft games of all time.
People really like that one. I know besides that one, the black sheep of the Remedy series is Quantum Break.
Okay.
Because Quantum Break is the one where it came out on the Xbox One as an exclusive. At the time when the Xbox One was not very well received at that point. And it has this weird fucking thing where it has these live action episodes that you have to download at this point, because I don't even think it lets you stream them anymore. Yeah. And it takes up a lot lot space.
You just like watch these 20-minute episodes of a TV show.
And they vary depending on what you do in the game, which is fucking weird as shit.
Yeah.
No matter which way you look at it. And I got the ending I wanted out of it, to be honest, because there's one character I really wanted to die, and he did die, luckily.
Actually, Michael, I think I know there might be one blacker sheep in the Remedy family.
What's that?
Crossfire X.
Oh, well, it definitely is now the black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
I know Far Cry Primal's the black sheep of the Far Cry series.
Oh, you know what? I've got one more. The unknown and much unappreciated black sheep of the rhythm game genre, DJ Hero.
Oh yeah,
fucking amazing, and I love it. And I was listening. I got that.
They made two of them too, I think.
Dude, well, the thing is that the first one, I wasn't sure about this when it came out, but the first one, the entire soundtrack were these like weird mashups.
Yeah.
And so like I was in the car. And I've started listening to the radio sometimes, because sometimes you just can't take another fucking podcast about bad shit happening in the world.
Yeah.
I was in the car just listening to the radio, and Straight Up by Paula Abdul came on, and it reminded me that like my favorite track on the DJ Hero soundtrack is this weird mashup of Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice and Straight Up by Paula Abdul.
I forgot about
that.
And
it really fucking rules, man. Like, go look up the DJ Hero soundtrack. It's got like what's the one that's like the Mr. Big stuff, and then like this, like it was like
I don't remember. My cousin had that game when it came out, and I still remember that fucking controller.
I have it. I have one.
Do you actually still have the controller?
Yeah, I have the controller and the game and a functional PlayStation 3. I could play DJ Hero right now. One time I got drunk and I went and fucking hooked it all up.
We should stream that one of these days.
Yeah, so let's see. It was oh my god, see, these are like the mixes. it had a lot of stuff like Disturbia by Rihanna and Disco Inferno by the Tramps mixed together.
That one.
Like,
yeah, that was a lot of fun actually.
Feel Good Incorporated by the Gorillaz and Atomic by Blondie. Like, that was a good one to. Yeah, they did a bunch with Hollaback Girl. Like, this is back when they were really licensing out some of this stuff. What was I thinking of? Mr. Big Stuff. And Born to Roll by Masta Ace.
It's crazy how many things
really
happened.
Good,
and it's sold so poorly.
Yeah,
but they still made a second one, I think.
Oh, that was a good one too. Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe and Word Up by Cameo.
I remember that.
That was a really good song. But yeah, I loved it, and I like my friends and I were all into the plastic music craze. And then DJ Hero came out, and I just couldn't get anybody on board with it. Everybody was just like, no, and I was like, oh.
The main issue with it is a lot of people didn't want the mashups.
Yeah,
they wanted just something like Guitar Hero again.
Yep.
Which was kind of
but the DJ
weird.
Hero 2 didn't sell very well.
Yeah,
like,
which was really strange to me. So yeah.
Yeah. I remember I did play DJ Hero on one of the live streams.
Oh, did you?
On like a fundraiser a long time ago when I was like drunk. And everybody was talking over me, and I think I was wearing sunglasses. I don't remember. Somebody can tell me in the comments. Anyway, we are now way over time, like we normally would have been, except we actually answered 3 questions.
Yes.
What? This is the first time in a long time.
It's been a very long time.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Whoever made that bet, who said they were going to answer 3 questions.
There you go.
You win the $500 or whatever.
You won the jackpot.
You win the NFT or whatever that.
Make your own NFT and say it's from me. That's
exactly.
Michael, tell the fine people of the internet where they can find you.
You can find me on oneofus.net. We do a lot of movie and television reviews. I just did a review for the Rescue Rangers Disney Plus movie. The Screen Fanatic YouTube channel that has all of the crossover event stuff is constantly updating with new stuff that Chris has done with Martin as well as Danny Danger of a lot of new just fun things on there in general. There's also some new Watch Movies with us on One of Us. He's still working on making more of them. Mm-hmm. And all 3 parts of The Gathering should be out if you are a Brown Coat subscriber.
Oh, there you go.
Or higher. I don't remember what the levels are for that, but that should be on there currently as well.
Okay. MailerRageSelect.com is the email address, or patreon.com/RageSelect if you want to get your question in the Discord server. I tend to give Discord server questions more priority, but if you're a long-time listener of this podcast, you know that we don't always get to do questions.
Yes.
So, don't give me money just so that we'll answer questions, because a lot of times you can just ask me that shit in the Discord server. Oh, you can give me money and then just ask me in the Discord server and not have to wait every week and be like, is he going to do it? Because the answer is probably no.
Yeah, I might answer it too, because I'm in there too sometimes.
Yeah.
As well as Matt.
Yeah.
Tess messes with it a lot as well.
Do it.
So yeah.
Get in there. Get in the Discord server. Come on. Get in here.